a lot. It happens more than you would think. Yeah, that happens more than often, bro. It really do. Hold on, let me double check though. Oh man, I feel sorry for you, man. Apologies to you and your well. Yeah, let me call you back because I'm live and you can tap on. Love y'all too, fam. Yeah. You can send it. You can send it to my email and I'll read it. I'll read it later for you, okay? But I'm gonna talk about it live, so I'm gonna talk about it live in a minute. So I love y'all, bro. Peace. Peace, everybody. I just had to get a couple things situated, man. It's a good day as always. It's always a good day. 1 second, I'm sorry. Hey, can I call you right back? Yeah, can I call you back in about like maybe like an hour, hour 15 minutes, something like that? Yep. Yep, I'm live now. Okay. Peace and love. Bye. Sorry about that, man. Got a lot of going on today. I had a short day. I was able to get a lot of work done. I was able to get me some watermelons. I was able to send some emails out. I got a new student that I'm tutoring. Got a couple new students that I'm tutoring, so gratitude for y'all parents for reaching out to me, man. And gratitude to the professors at GCU for requesting me to be your tutor. Like I said, you can always create when you have a gift and you educate it. You can always create. Yes, it's working a 9 to 5 is amazing. Don't get me wrong. I give gratitude to that. But I'm able to create on my own and use my brain and be able to draw more in than what a job can pay me. So, with that being said, man, I want to say peace, 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 peace to everyone today. And I want to give some disclaimers. And the first disclaimer, well, I like to give 2 disclaimers. The information being offered here is purely for educational and informative in nature and does not constitute professional, legal, or tax advice. You must take full responsibility for any liability or loss incurred as a consequence of the use and application, directly or indirectly, of any information contained in these books that I'm going to give you in this dissertation, because that's why you should be a student, for you can get good information and take that back to your so-called legal advisor, etc. I'm here to give you information for you can learn and ask questions, which we don't have. With the events of today, you must verify all information as to the truth or validity yourself, as you are the one who will ultimately have to defend your land. You must know what it is and what is the truth and what is not. And I've tried my best and my ability to ensure that when I give information is valid. Just like this book right here that got a lot of people in trouble because they don't know the local law and the laws in their jurisdiction. And right in the introduction of this book, it says, this information is offered for educational purposes only, not to be taken as legal advice. These statements might be true or false. It says it's right here on the first page of this book. I write in a lot of books for notes, but it says it right here in the book. So when people be quoting this and reading this and acting like they done did this and that and the other, man, they lying. Because every state, every jurisdiction have their own set of local and state laws. And that's a fact. And you should know your local and state law before you take anything as word. So the first thing, I want to talk about, and I'm got the okay to speak on it because she said, yes, you saved our life. And this is one of my students that I tutor. I had the pleasure to talk to them and help them and they're in the state of Florida. And I tell everybody, squatters have no rights in the state of Florida. Just do a real Google search. And what happened is some family I know, they own a lot of property and they were out of town and a lot of things was going on. And they had some squatters in their property. And the first thing that misnomer black people tell them to go do is go get a court-appointed attorney or a paid attorney. And then if you don't have nothing to ask that person, they're going to do what they want to do. What? Because they're in the business of making money. So make a long story short, a lot of their property in an urban neighborhood, people were squatting in. And they wouldn't hire, no disrespect, a so-called brother, lawyer, attorney, whatever you want to call it. And the first thing he told them to do is go get an eviction, a tenant eviction. This is the first thing that this brother told him. And her daughter was like, well, I know this brother that went to GCU with me. He can at least give us some information that we can have and we can take it back and see if it's valid. Oh, thank you. And the first thing what I told him, and I shared to them that in the state of Florida, squatters have no rights. So if you don't have an agreement, a rental agreement with this person that's written, with this person that's done squatted in your house, why would you go get a tenant an eviction notice? Why would an attorney do you that? Because that's breaking and entering. You have no contract with these people. So why would a so-called attorney and a lawyer that say they have your best interest would tell you to go get an eviction notice? You're not evicting no one. You don't have a contract with no one that's illegally in your property. It's another piece of paper that you get. And you can go there and you can get them out there by any means necessary. And you can call the police and the police will drag them out by their hair. I'm like, squatters have no rights. So what these attorneys and these lawyers would do to dealing with people that don't have no one dealing with their best interest, or they don't have a legal advisor to give them information, because that's what you should have, a legal advisor to give you information. Precedent in law cases, doc number, Free Information Act, to tell you the laws that govern your jurisdiction or your state or your locality. And then you take that to that so-called lawyer or that so-called attorney, because everything I give you is for educational purposes only. It's on you to know, and you will suffer if you take things out of context. If you don't have the information and you just listen to somebody on the internet just talking, and then you take that and say it's valid, it's on you, because there's no excuse of not knowing the law in a court of law. It's all on you. This is the law. And so in the state of Florida, when this person got this so-called attorney and they spent all this money, and the daughter was like, well, my colleague that I graduated with, he lectured in the business departments. He know lawyers that was teachers at GCU, and he had conversations with them. A lot of people want to call it debating, but I don't debate anyone. I have a conversation, and then I ask the question, now, is it valid? And sure enough, I research everything before I do anything, before I speak. I love reading contracts. I love reading. I love studying. I help so many people read contracts, which most of us don't do. We don't read contracts, and then we go back and try to say, oh, they were abused. But all the abuse is in the contract that you didn't read. And there's no excuse of not knowing the law in a court of law. You should have read the contract. You should have read it. You should have read the contract. So I'm going to talk about a plethora of things today. And the first thing that I tell people is squatters have no rights in the state of Florida. Just research it. So why would an attorney or a lawyer tell you to get an eviction notice from someone that broke into your property? Why? You can't just go squatting. Every state has different rules. Like in the city of Flint, one, you got to make sure the property is abandoned. A lot of times the city will buy the properties. In the city of Flint, you have a company called Land Bank that own plight. But a lot of times people that's done let their houses just be destroyed, they own back taxes. So it's a way that you got to do it. You just can't go on the property and say, oh, well, I got the insurance on, or I got the water on, all that, and it's going to happen. No, you got to cross all your T's and dot your I's and make sure no one own the property. If it's abandoned, you would know if it's abandoned. You would know if no one own it. But a lot of times the city will pick those properties up through Land Bank or through these other different government ran organizations. And it's for you to do your due diligence before you squat in some property, before you squat in a property that you didn't do your due diligence and someone owns the property and they may be paying the property taxes. It's a way to do things the right way. So in the state of Florida, this family went and got an attorney, and that attorney knew that he would get them caught up in litigation. He knew it. He knew it'd take time for them going to court. That's money. That's money. He knew that going off the top. And that one phone call it took me. And they gave me a donation. They was in this attorney office. And I said, that brother know that squatters don't have no rights in the state of Florida. You can hear a pin drop. They asked him, do squatters have right in the state of Florida? She like, the attorney like, well, who told you that? She's like, yes or no? No. So why would you have these people get an eviction notice for a person that you don't have an agreement with and they not a tenant? Couldn't say nothing. I said, these people broke in your property. It's a whole nother form. It's a whole nother piece of paper that you sign, and you come with the police and they drag their tails out of there. That's not just in a European neighborhood or a neighborhood on the outskirts where a house might be up for sale or you ain't do your due diligence and Negroes will go squat in the house and then they get dragged out by their hair. You know what I'm saying? And and we don't do our due diligence. You listen to the people on the internet telling you to go squat in something, or you listen to this book right here, and this book tell you it's for educational purposes only, and everything I tell you is for educational purposes only. I don't give legal advice. That's why I give disclaimers. I say, if you got an attorney or you got a lawyer, take everything that I'm telling you and go ask them, because they the ones that's supposed to be responsible, and you're responsible, and there's no excuse of not knowing the law in the court of law. Especially with taxes and everything, you can't say you didn't know, because there's no excuse. There's no excuse. And you're responsible for everything that you try to do in the courts. When you hear someone talking on the internet and you go get your rear end handed to you. And so as I gave the information that squatters have no rights in the state of Florida, and they went through that whole litigation, lost all that money with that attorney, and then they come to me and say, everything you said was right, brother. I said, I know. I told y'all to educate yourself. I told y'all, don't get all afraid, don't get mad. Squatters have no rights in the state of Florida. That's why I say a lot of my European colleagues, they use the law. We don't. Because what we do, we don't have no rights. We're not educated. I tell everybody, educate yourself on things and then go back and ask questions. I don't tell nobody what to do. I don't give legal advice. I give you information so you can ask. So if you got an attorney, you got a lawyer, go ask them. And then I can give you the law, the local law, for you can see, be like, damn, that is true. Squatters don't have no rights in the state of Florida. So why would an attorney, why would a lawyer tell you to go get an eviction notice for someone that broke into your property that you own? Why? Because it's litigation. Because that's how they make their money. Soon as you file that piece of paper, an eviction notice for a tenant, now you tied up in the courts. Now it's litigation, and they know that. That's how they get you. They be praying that you ain't talk to somebody educated like me. They be hoping. Why? Because it's litigation. That's how they make their money. They have you go get a form that you shouldn't even get. It's a whole nother form that you should get. You should sign it and come with the police, and the police will drag their black butts, or they, whatever nationality they are, they will drag them out of your property. These is facts. Ask anybody. Ask somebody that know law. Ask somebody that know tenant law and real estate law. Ask them. Just ask them that quick question. Do squatters have rights in the state of Florida? If they say yeah, they lying. I'll give you the precedent law case and a doc number. If they say yeah, that means they know you know something. I'm telling people the facts. I'm not on here to try to tell nobody what to do. I'm not on here to try to tell nobody, listen to me. I'm giving you information. I'm giving you information. And that's why I get paid for what I do. That's why most of my teachers is on the college campus. And I jump on here and I ask people for small donations and they give nothing. And that's okay. Because I know how our people are. It's A-okay with me. It's A-okay with me. We the only ones that'll scam our own people. We the only ones that'll go to these events, these pay for your leisure events. All these people that talk about they in real estate, all that stuff on them podcasts. And I told y'all a long time ago, that ain't nothing but infomercials. Those are Peola. All those conscious people, even the brother from the Nation of Islam, all those people, from the brother with the keys, from the brother with the X, from all those brothers, pay for your leisure. All of them paid their money to get on those podcasts to hustle and trick their people. All the ones that say they deal with Bitcoin. All the ones that say they deal with Bitcoin and Forex, it's a lie. Because you have to be registered on the SEC. I've been telling people this for years. And only people that listen to me is my European colleagues that I lecture and they pay me. And I get on here, I ask for a small donation and I get nothing. And once again, I say, okay. And if I was scamming on here like the rest of them people and all them, like my man in Atlanta, I forget the dude name, like Caesar and all that dude from the Tulsa, Oklahoma. I forget the brother name. Y'all know the brother name that scammed all them people with all that stuff. If I was acting like the Nation of Islam brother, talk about they got 400 acres and they got some never land farms and all that stuff is false, then what? And then I told y'all all that stuff is payola. Go on JT Pocket Watchers. He was calling them brothers out. And then they be acting like they don't know what he talking about. Because we are the most people that get scammed. We don't want to educate ourselves in nothing. So when I speak on things, I educate people. That's why we're not winning, because we think we can pay a couple dollars and get a whole bunch of return instead of educating yourself on what not to do and what to do. And so I help that brother. I help that whole family. I help that whole family in the state of Florida to be like, man, this damn attorney just gonna try to get us caught up in litigation, have us going to court. Had me on they little Zoom interview. She was like, well, I want y'all to talk to my brother that give us that got our best interest. Is this true what this brother's saying? The attorney, which is a brother, on there looking stupid, like a deer in the headlight. Then I started breaking down law. I said, just because you got a degree in law and you passed the bar don't mean you study no law. I broke that down. Because if you competent, you can defend yourself in a court of law. I broke down all the precedent law cases and doc numbers and the Free Information Act. He was like, man, you should be an attorney. No, the hell I shouldn't. No, I shouldn't. I don't want to be no attorney. I can give you education. I'm creating my own platform. I got a 9 to 5. I'm creating my own platform. So when you do things, you can go to them and be like, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? And when we go to lawyers and even people that's dealing with real estate and mortgage people, you going with no information. And when you go with no information, the first thing they say, oh, I got me another sucker. Lawyers and real estate agents and people that deal with that, they the same. Because they know you're not educated on some of the biggest investments and some of the biggest money spending that you will make in your life. You have nothing to ask. When we go to the doctors, we have nothing to ask. We just let them prescribe us medicine. And this continue to fall on deaf ears with our brothers and sisters as I do lectures at colleges and I get paid. And I come on here, I say, man, if y'all give a small donation, Cash App $KG Bay, I'll give you the information. Then we can start, brothers can create their own podcast and I can be on your podcast and all these people on the internet, this what is called investfest and all this stuff that people going to, I bet you they won't jump on my page. All them pay for your leisure, I bet you they won't jump on my page. That $1 million worth of game where they had all those people on there that paid to get on their show, to con the people, I bet you they won't get on my page. I bet you they won't. And then when the scam get recognized, when the Ponzi scheme or the pyramid scheme get recognized, the first thing they try to do is act like they don't know. But you know everything when you on here talking. And then they run behind the church or they run behind the Nation of Islam. And why none of them brothers, especially the religious brother with the X, if that's the case, if what you saying is so valid, why you didn't take that to the nation? Why Farrakhan them ain't investing? Why you bringing that to a whole bunch of poor people on welfare in Section 8 that can't even donate $20? Why you ain't bringing that to your nation? Because you know better than that. You know better than that because them people gonna hold you accountable. Our people don't hold nobody accountable. We some of the most forgiving Negroes. Just like, what's his name? I forget the brother name in Atlanta. With the Tulsa, Oklahoma, with the Tulsa thing. What's that dude name? It'll come to me. Straight up scam people. And he right in the church. And then they jump on the internet with that whole scam stuff. And use, what's the other name? Boyce Watkins. All that mess too. And I said, y'all, these people is crazy. Boyce Watkins, these people ain't invested in nothing. But they back all of them. Yes, this is a good investment. Because we black people. No, black people are stupid. Because they don't educate themselves. And they don't have questions. All that stuff was a scam. Jay Morrison. That's the brother name. My professor said his name is Jay Morrison, Sheik. We watch this stuff on the college campus and these professors be laughing. They say they only going to get a poor black person. They'll never get no educated European or no other nationality. You're going to see a whole bunch of black people saying, well, I lost this and I lost that. You'll never see nobody else. Only poor black people. Why? Why do you think that? Why do you think that? But once again, squatters have no rights in the state of Florida. And so when that brother and his family went and got an attorney and had me on the YouTube and had me on our, what it's called, Skype or whatever it is, and I asked the question, I said, do squatters have rights in the state of Florida? Yes or no? Do we? He was like, well, what do you mean? I said, man, that's a simple question. That's a yes or no. Do squatters have rights in the state of Florida? Yes or no? Because if you say yes, then I'm going to show you the precedent in law case and a doc number and a Free Information Act that's going to say you lying to these people right here. And when an attorney lied to you and they'll defend you in your best interest, you can sue them because they know better. They're holding information from you. That's a whole nother lawsuit that you have on them because they're not defending you in your best interest. They trying to extract money from you. Well, I think so. How you think so? How do you think so? Do they or do they not? Well, no, they don't. Okay. So if that's the case, thanks for the donation. So if that's the case, the next question I asked the brother, why would you tell anybody, your client, whatever you want to call them, why would you tell them to get an eviction notice? Why? And you don't have a contract with them. They are not tenants. So why would you go get an eviction notice to kick a squatter out your house? Answer that question. Couldn't even answer it. Well, no, I said, no, I know what you're doing. It's litigation. And they're going to have to pay money. And you know that. So you're going to tie them up in court and go through all that long time, these people in your house, to try to get somebody out your house that broke in your house. That B&E. And you don't go get no eviction notice because you don't have a contract with them. I say, well, go give me the contract that say that you got a contract with them, that they're tenants. What you mean, Sheik? Go get the contract that both of y'all sign with the power of attorney, with the third party agreement that say that they're tenants. Well, we don't have one. Exactly. So why would you go get an eviction notice for a tenant? I'll wait. Couldn't say nothing. Couldn't say nothing. Lost all that thousands of dollars getting this attorney because they like, oh, he's one of the best attorneys, real estate attorneys in the state of Florida. My professor looked him up. He was like, y'all about to lose money. He was like, so you don't want to give a donation. You don't want to give my student a finder's fee of $500 to ask some questions before you spend $10,000 on somebody that's going to have you going to court and you finna spend more. You don't want to give a donation of $500? Sad as hell. So you spent 10 bands and lost. And these people was in your property for so long. Tore the house up, knocked all the drywall out, stole all the PVC pipes, tore everything out, poured cement in all the sinks and in all the drains, flooded, cut the water on illegally, had the water on, flooded everything. Everything was dry rotted and molded. The house was a total waste because you didn't want to donate $500 to a brother that could have helped you. That I could have told you, go right to the police department, get this form for somebody that B&E, breaking and entering. The police will escort you and they will drag them out by their hair. And if you got your own security, you can drag them out. But we'll lose all those thousands of dollars because they don't want to see their own brother and sister on the level as a European or other establishment. No disrespect. I'm just telling you the fact. Because taking the bar don't mean that you know the law. That means you just passed the test. I know this for a fact. My professor was like, Sheik, I'm an attorney. Like, you can study under me and then you can just go take the bar. That's how it works in the state of California. Once you have a certain amount of education, bachelor's degree, some states you got to have a master's degree. And if you got certain education, you can study and take the bar. I took a practice test at the bar, passed it with high in colors. Why? Because I love to read and study. But I ain't defending no criminal. I'm not defending no criminal. I'm not defending nobody that I know that you're guilty. I'm not doing that for no dollar. I'm not doing that. I'd rather help people and give you education so you can go ask your attorney or whatever when you're going through something and you can have some information when a person just telling you do this and do that and do that. And you can say, well, what about this? Well, what about this? Have you heard about this? Have you heard about this precedent in law case? Have you ever heard about this doc number? Have you heard about this Free Information Act? That's what I am. That's what I do. That's what I do. Yep, I got you. I got you, brother. I ask everybody, research precedented law cases, doc numbers, and Free Information Act. Then I start helping people in all type of ways. Thank you for the donation, Noble. Thank you for the donation. Thank you for the donation. Like I said, man, Cash App $ KG Bay. And so that was just one scenario where I helped some people. And it was like, brother, thank you. The information that you have is valid. They were like, if I would have known this, I wouldn't have wasted my time. But like the student said, we tried to tell you. And so all they do is cost people a whole bunch of money because they don't want to support something that's real. And that'd be our fault. That be our selfish fault. They'll get a book, they'll listen to somebody on the internet quoting this book, and I say, dude, you going to jail. Why? Because in this book it said this information is offered for educational purposes only, not to be taken as legal advice. These statements, might be true or false. And I give y'all the information. I tell y'all, I say, listen, man, that's not valid in your jurisdiction. I give you law. I'm like, dude, I try to educate my brothers and sisters, and we don't want to be educated. We get excited when somebody on the internet flashing a whole bunch of money. We get excited when somebody say, oh, they dealing with real estate, and tell you to give you their money because they finna develop something and they can guarantee you something. And I say, man, when somebody say guarantee, I can't guarantee you that you're gonna make no money on the block selling dope. Excuse my candor, and I'm just using real analogies. I can't guarantee you nothing. It's an assumption of risk in everything that you do. You can either make something, you can lose it all, or you can break even. And I wouldn't tell you to invest in no real estate if you're not educated. If you already got something going on, I would tell you to diversify your portfolio and see other avenues that you can buy something and make a profit off what you're buying. But I never tell a person to stop doing what they're doing if it's making money and do what I'm doing. What I'll show you is how to maximize what you're doing. That's all I tell people. It's a book called The Influencer. All my muftis got it. I gave y'all that book. It's by a European. I forget the name of it. Noble Lamarck, you know the name of the book. I've been telling people to read that. And when you read that book, Influencer, throw that stuff back on all them people that say they invested in real estate, or they dealing with Bitcoin, or they dealing with Forex. And I'm going to show you that it's a Ponzi scheme and a pyramid scheme. They're going to be like, they're going to run away from you. I guarantee you, they'll run away. Because you know the language. You're going to know the language. You're going to know everything. If you want the book, all you got to do is hit me up. My mufti's got it. It's a book called The Influencer. And they play that Jedi mind trick on y'all. Oh, man, the reason why you ain't this, because the reason why you ain't successful, because you ain't messing with me. And then you have a person that say they dealing with Forex or Bitcoin, and they got all this glamorous stuff. They got all this stuff, and they want your little measly $200 for them to pay you, for you to pay them each month to take their course, and you're not gonna make nothing. But they'll get you with all that glitz and glamour. But if you so successful, what you doing? Why I ain't gonna make no money if you making so much money into it? Oh, like I tell people, dude, it's not real. It's not real. And we the only ones that get caught up in that, especially our sisters. They go to all these investfest. They go to all these things and they listen to all these brothers with these fictitious names. And I say, after you do all that, and after you spend all your money, I bet you would be in the same predicament you was in. But what we want to do, a lot of us are groupies. They just want to be around celebrities. And I told a person, y'all happy to go around Steve Harvey talking? Steve Harvey get paid from TV. Steve Harvey don't have no companies. I would rather deal with my local people and do things in my local community, just like I talk about local politics. Everybody talking about the president, but you don't vote for nothing local. You don't vote for nothing local that'll change your life. And all these people want to pay, oh man, yep, you buying tickets to go listen to somebody talk on stage. That's a show. That's a show. All y'all got to do is watch JT Pocket Watchers. He called them all out. He had all them dudes on their show. He gave them opportunity to come on there. And a lot of them, they be afraid. Had my man Ben X on there. Had all them people that gave them a chance to come on there. And the first thing they do, they start making excuses. The people that so-called deal with Jay Morrison, he be asking to come on there. Ask Boyce Watkins to come on there. They don't want to come on there because they got paid for the scam. Why? It's called Peola. Research what payola mean. I'll tell you what payola mean. I'll pull it up myself. And they play on poor black people. This is their scheme. This is their scam. Payola, the practice of bribing someone to use their influence or position to promote a particular product or interest. If a record company spends enough money on payola, it can make any record a hit. Ding. And a lot of it is payola. That's why I said I'm going to start saying names. And it's no disrespect. If you knew somebody scamming people, and then you know another person that's dealing with that person that scammed them, and you got scammed, you're not going to say nothing? That's what's the problem in our society. We don't help people, and we don't warn people. We let them fall with the Titanic. We let them go in a burning house, and it be your own people. They won't bring this to no European that got no money, because the European be like, man, go sit your broke self down and miss me with that garbage. You're not no investor. And then look what happened. They all go to jail. Look up their names. Look up these people real names. These people just getting out of prison for fraud and tax evasion. I don't care if you went to jail for something, you paid for your crime. But if you come out and still be honest and still be unjust, and you went to prison to learn how to scam your own people, that's sad as heck. That's sad as heck. It's called Peola. And that's why I'm going to still be here. And that's why the work that I'm doing, I'm able to do it in real life. I'm able to be people teachers and educators in real life. And I'm going to continue to do it. Why did all them people fall and reinvent themselves and they make these videos and hustle people? I'm going to still be right here. I'm going to still be right here speaking the truth. I'm going to still be right here because I know what I'm talking about. I told y'all it was payola. Go on JT Pocket Watchers and put it all up. What happened to the Black Wall Street? All those brothers that came together said they were finna do all this. Them Negroes was fighting over money because they all scamming. Some of them brothers didn't even have no talents. Like I told one brother, just say you're a motivational speaker. And then I'm okay with that. You don't have no skills. You just a motivational speaker. Talk about I'm teaching brothers how to think. Man, you're not teaching nobody how to think. Education shows you how to think. Strategies tell you how to think. Mathematics and numbers tell you how to think. But they dress up in a fancy and then they use religion and get people all caught up. Because that's the one thing with Negroes. We broke rich and we are paid to go hear somebody talk a whole bunch of garbage. And we go right back on Section 8. I know a lot of people deal with a whole bunch of people. Like it's a brother that got a whole bunch of gold and people think that's valid. I say, yeah, gold is a good investment, but just because you don't have gold and this brother got gold don't mean he better than you. You can invest in everything that you want to do and make just as money as that person. You don't have to do what somebody else saying and they say, if you ain't doing what I'm doing, you stupid. No, you doing what you doing. If you painting rocks and you making a good return on your income off making rocks and you making a good profit off selling rocks, how can you say selling rocks is bad? And what you doing is better than what this person doing? That's garbage. What they want you to do is be their student and take their course and get you part of the scam. And then you bring somebody else in and you bring somebody else in. It's a scam. And all these dudes do is run through women. All you gotta do is look at it. This ain't no slander. This is the facts. Look at these characters and look what they do. All they doing is running through women. They ain't doing nothing and having babies and hustling you. Where all the board games? One of the brother had talk about a Trump, this board game and all this. And I dealt with a sister. She said, Sheik, everything you saying is manufactured. I said, sister, I'm getting ready to be 48 years young. These little kids is not going to come on my page. I know the scam. I know the Ponzi scam. I know the pyramid scam. They can't come to me with that crap. All you got to do is tell a person to open up their portfolio and show you that their return on interest of what they was making. And then everybody that they say that's making so much money, go get them and see if it's real. It's not. It's not. That's why I'm here to educate my brothers and sisters. You put a clean glass next to a dirty glass. You know the difference. And then if I speak on things and show y'all what's really happening, and like I told that brother, I said, man, they say you're a motivational speaker. You ain't dealing with no Bitcoin. Stop playing with people like that. You got to have a certain amount of money to deal with Bitcoin, and then you got to be registered on the government sites. Stop playing with people. And you don't even have enough aptitude to be dealing with no Bitcoin or no Forex. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's a multi-level marketing scheme. All y'all got to do is get the book called Influencer. I'll give it to you for a small donation. People will go on Amazon and buy those books for all that money. I'll give it to you for a small donation. That's what they read. They read those books from the influencer, the other dude, what's his name? Michael Cordone, and all these other people that laugh at black people. I'm just keeping it 100 with y'all. It's fugazi. They would never jump on my page and have a real conversation. Just like the brother JT Pocket Watchers. I give that brother, he's a practicing I think the financial manager. He gave them all the opportunity to come on his page, and all them dudes be acting like and stuttering, especially the dude from the Nation of Islam, the little young brother. That lie that said he got 400 acres, and I showed y'all who owned the 400 acres. It's an old European man and a wife that own that 400 acres. Then they get on the internet, talk about they got a degree, a master's degree in Christian education and a bachelor's degree in business. And then the singer Tank on there. And these Negroes is from a fake diploma mill from where was it? Nigeria. And they use a green screen and the fake graduation caps that they went on Amazon and bought to con you. Then they go to Home Depot and buy some damn tool sheds and have a ribbon cutting. Where all the stuff at? Where the Never Land at? Where the Never Farms at? That they was on the internet doing a ribbon cutting at? Where it's at? Where the 400 acres? Where it's all at? You can't be mad at me. This is what they do. This is what they do. They put all this fake stuff on there. It's Peola. And then the brother get on there and talk about, oh, this is a good way to make residual income. The brother from the Nation, the ex-brother. And then JT gave him a chance to come on there, and he on there looking stupid. Well, I didn't know this. Man, you a lie. There ain't no truth in you. You a lie. You know what's Peola. They used you because you got a big following, and you hide behind a religion. And it be our own people. These is facts. And once again, it's happening again with this pay for your leisure and this event fest and all this stuff that these people be going to. And I say, okay, but I bet you they won't say nothing to me because they tried and they got their rear end handed to them. Just like the brother that used to be in Vegas in California, riding around in a old Rolls Royce, going to Vegas, renting them cars, dressing up in all them clothes, and telling them, "Oh, take my course, take my course." I'm like, dude, if a person making a whole bunch of $1 million, he's not finna show you how to do it. Why? Because it'll flood the market. That's why. It'll flood the market. It ain't nothing but copy and paste. And if a person tell you to take the course and to show you how to make some money, where are the real students? Where are your building that you teaching these people? You can teach people on Zoom, like I do. So where are your students on Zoom that's making money? It's fugazi. And all those testimonies are fake. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. So I don't be on here to try to tell nobody what to do. I try to educate you in everything. I try to tell you to research what allodial means. Research what allodial means. It's a word, the matter in which the term is bandied about, and the material is all you need to establish the existence of miscomprehension. And that's what they do to y'all. A lot of these people, you miscomprehending what these people saying. You are miscomprehending what these people saying. I've been telling people what my professor said. You're absolutely right. I told y'all. And people can be mad at me all they want to, but I don't care. I'm an educator. Your own people will scam you. Peace, Noble Brian. Peace and love to you, Noble. I told y'all that payola, that pay for your leisure, all those event fests, them brothers would not say nothing to me. I give y'all a book called The Influencer. All my muftis got it. And that's the scam that they run on y'all. I'm always going to be transparent. I told y'all, I know a brother that I went to school with. What'd he say? Oh, okay. I got you, brother. I know a brother that I went to school with that wrote a book that says, Noble Brian, 5 ways that you can sit at home and strike it rich. I spit my juice out when I saw that book on people's tables. When I saw a lot of my classmates, I got the book. But I said, did y'all read the book? I said, did you read the book? Oh, I'm just supporting what? A book, a fictitious book. And then my professor said they don't support you because everybody think they can read a book and make some money. Okay, you got rich dad, poor dad. And I know a whole bunch of people still poor dad. Noble Brian, Noble Lamar, Cameron, they still poor dad because they write the book and they make money off lecturing and you buying a book and them going on tour speaking. It's a few people at the top. That's a pyramid scheme. And then the other stuff is a Ponzi scheme. I ask anybody, if you write a book that say these are the 5 ways to sit at home on your rusty dusty and get rich, and you ain't even rich, you ain't never had no businesses, and then I know these people, I know these individuals, they did that Ponzi scheme. in the city of Flint. They tried to get everybody in there. Hey, man, you should be doing this. I say, dude, I know what y'all doing. They got the dude from Pretty Ricky that used to be on that with Master P. All that Ponzi scheme. I called him out. The nigga came to my house. I wish my Empress was on here. I called him out in his face. And if you jump on my page, I'll call him out. I say, man, you know that crap you talking about is garbage. It ain't no book that's finna show you how to sit on your butt and get rich. Ain't no rich person teaching you how to get rich. They using you as part of their income. These is facts. And facts are stubborn, but you can't be mad at me. I bet you can't tell me I'm lying. You should be like, man, thank you. So you bought a book that's just gonna do nothing for you. And I know a lot of my own family and friends got these books, especially got the book from the dude. And I ask you, are you rich today? Have you able to sit on your butt at home? And are you rich now by reading that book? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But they only do this to poor people. That's why I'm gonna always be here, Brian. And my noble Brian is in the state of Florida. Remember, Brian, I told you, and I had y'all research, and I showed the film with the European attorney telling everybody that squatters have no rights in the state of Florida. And one of my college students I went to GCU with, she was from Florida. She moved back to Florida, and they own land. And her mother and them didn't listen to her, and they went and got a damn lawyer to spend $10,000. And she asked me to have a meet with them on Zoom when they go to their lawyer office. Put me on Zoom, and she was like, now she repeat what you teach on YouTube and Instagram for a small donation. I said, what, squatters don't have no rights in the state of Florida? She said, yeah, ask their attorney, do squatters have right in the state of Florida? You can hear a pin drop. So I said, why would that attorney tell you go get an eviction notice? Eviction notice is only for people that you went in a contract with tenants. These people done broke in your house. It's a whole other document you get, and you had the police drag them out by their hair. These not no tenants. Spent $10,000. Her mother and father were like, oh, I wish we would have known. He said, we did. I tried to introduce you to him and get the information and take it to the attorneys for we can save all this money. But that's what we do. That's what we do. That's what we do. And all this stuff on the internet, all this pay for your leisure. Oh, I deal with real estate, the Tulsa, Oklahoma stuff, dealing with these fictitious people, the ex-dude, the dude, I say Alicia Keys, the dude that say he the Keys this. And I said, dude, just say you're a motivational speaker. You don't deal with no Bitcoin. You don't deal with no Forex. Talk about, just say that you a motivational speaker. What about the Black Wall Street? What about all that? Go on YouTube and pull up JT Pocket Watchers and pull all this stuff up that I'm saying. And then them brothers be looking all stupid in the face, quiet as hell when JT is questioning them. What they so educated trying to tell you what it is, JT asking them Negroes them questions, they looking stupid. Because y'all, it's payola. It's payola. It's payola. The practice of bringing or bribing someone to use their influence, and they ain't bribing them, they paying them to use their influence or position to promote a particular product or interest. That's what's happening to misnomer black people. But I'm gonna always be here because I'm creating my own infrastructure, and all my family and friends, I'm not gonna need nothing from them no more. Why? Because I deal with God's people. I deal with real educators. I'm not gonna have to ask my family and friends to support what I'm doing while they buying books and stuff, thinking they gonna get rich. I'm not gonna have to ask my people, go on my websites and buy my books for a fraction of the price that's on Amazon and get them downloaded on your tablet, or go to my other company, binditbooks.com, and we'll print and bind the books for you for a smaller fee. I'm not gonna have to ask them no more. At mypdfbooks.com, where you can download all these expensive and rare books to your tablet. Because who's traveling with a whole bunch of books? I'm not gonna need my family. I'm not gonna need them. Just like my professor said, he was like, you are Jeff Bezos. Your family and friends don't see who you are. You don't have to put your products on no Amazon. You use your own money to create your own websites. And I got a good following. I have real products. So I'm not gonna be begging my people in a minute. I'm gonna be gone. I'm gonna be gone. How I buy land with tennis shoe money, how I try to tell people, stop giving your money to Uncle Sam and support my organization, and I can give you a tax exempt receipt to take to your tax preparer. It fall on deaf ears to my immediate family. But then all my professors and college students and my members that support me how they can, they know exactly what I'm talking about. They know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's get into this miscomprehension of words and concepts. When I tell people, you want to educate yourself first on what I'm saying. Because the old concept comes to mind that people hear only what they want to hear. and see only what they want to see. And the fragility of dealing with life on the basis of that sort of perception is made painfully obvious whenever reality forcefully shatters the delusion. And it usually does when one least expected. When one least expected. And since this has been designed as the official dictionary of reference to be used by the United States Supreme Court in all matters pertaining to the Constitution and fundamental laws of this nation, the definitions provided, references, or relied upon in this demonstration would be taken from John Bover's Law Dictionary, Bouvires. When I tell misnomer black people, when Black Law's Dictionary, Brian, has became popular with a whole bunch of sovereign citizens, I said, I don't give a dang about no Black Law's Dictionary. Those ain't nothing but terms. We don't even use that in a court of law. Some stupid Black Law's Dictionary with a whole bunch of illiterate Negroes. I got Black Law's Dictionary. So what, clown? So what? I'm saying it just like that. So what, clown? You got Black Law's Dictionary. So what, clown? That ain't no precedent in law cases. That ain't no doc number. That ain't no Free Information Act. So what, clown? And I say that. Nothing but book terms. We don't even use that. Likewise, historical annotations pertaining to the Magna Charta are derived from the actual documents themselves, as preserved by the British historians, the archivists. I study in the Royal Archives. Thank you, Brian. Dictionary is for reference and study. That's it. That's it. Man, I don't know. Why are they only attacking Christianity in like France? Because Jesus is the only way in life. Man, here we go again. Here we go again, man. Like, I don't know. Ask them. No disrespect, Cliff. No disrespect. Ask them. But that ain't what I'm talking about right now. That ain't what I'm talking about. That ain't what I'm talking about. I ask people, use their own platform for that. That is not what I'm talking about right now. I don't know why people do what they do. Yeah, I'm on YouTube. That's the same person. Get on there with the Jesus stuff. I ain't here to argue with nobody. I understand about the Messiah. That's why I ask people, please stay in context. And people, always the same people, get on my page with that wise people. I don't know. Ask them. Ask those people. I'm not against the Messiah. That's why I tell people, why do people jump on my page with their personal ways? I understand the Messiah. I'm all with that. Yeah, I'm on YouTube as well. Jump on YouTube. And it'd be the same people get on my page with why this. I said, brother, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I study the text. I love the biblical scriptures. Every Sunday, I minister. I'm a minister. So I don't know what people do. Ask those individuals that do that. Create your own YouTube page and ask them. That's why, that's what I'll be telling people. Go on their page and ask those people this, and why they attacking Jesus Christ, and why the Olympics doing that. Because that's what they do, because that's what people do. Why do Negroes kill each other? I'm not here to argue with nobody. That's why I ask people, please stay in context. But I get these same individuals that'll jump on my page, act like I got a problem with the Messiah, or act like I got a problem with Jesus, or whatever name you use. Yahshua, Yahweh, whatever. I don't have a problem with that. I'm a divine minister. And it'd be the same individual jump on my page with that. Jesus is the truth, the way, and the light. Okay. I know that. Now what? You see? There it go. There it go, y'all. The same stupid stuff. Because Jesus is our life, and every being, including the devil, will bow down. Why, man, I tell you, man, some of our people is messed up. Let me hide that person from my channel. Get them off of my channel. Got them done. I told y'all, we are a messed up people, y'all. We are a messed up people in this world. We are messed up, and the United States of America is the only place that you have religious freedoms. But that's what we do. We are messed up people. And we take the time of our day to get on people's pages with that. Like, it's something wrong with our mental. It's something wrong with our mental, brothers and sisters. It's something wrong with that same person, Cliff, W-A-W-E-R-U, get on my page with that dumb stuff. It's sad. I tell people to create your own station. I'm on here speaking in something, stay in context, but we don't. Because everybody want to throw their religious belief on people. But the United States is the only place that you can have your religious freedoms. I don't disrespect nobody religious freedoms. You know? You know what I'm saying? I don't have no problem with nobody's religious belief. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm an educator. I come on here and give specific topics, and then people jump on my page with all their religious beliefs. I said, dude, create your own. So let's get back to the title and the subject at hand. Please stay in context. The Magna Carta or Charter is considered by many to be the first major steps taken in history towards formation of a system of government which culminated in our own Constitution. Some consider it to be the foundation on which our Constitution rests. Most of the men and women who founded this nation were, by all indications, honorable and forthright people. It is not like they had some hidden agenda where they announced their independence to the rest of the world, and the unanimous declarations and it resolves of 1776 contains nearly 30 express grievances, 2 of which make direct reference to the common law of England and the Magna Charta. All doubt was thereby removed as to why they were in open revolt against their own lawful king, and they were being deprived of many rights enjoyed by all other British subjects. When you focus too closely on just one of the grievances, you run the risk of losing sight of all the rest. This is what I tell my brothers and sisters. You got to be educated in things. I understand people's religion, but we talking business. Yeah, I know Yahshua, Jesus, Yahweh is the way, the truth, and the light. Yeah, I get all that. But now, business. Now let's talk about business. Let's talk about real estate. Let's talk about a lot of things that these misnumbered black people get on the video and YouTube on these podcasts with this Peola and with this pay for your leisure and with all this investfest, with all these fictitious names saying they deal with Bitcoin, saying they real estate agents, and now what's happening? All crumble. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right now. Another significant aspect of the Magna Charta is that it is generally viewed as having effectively brought an end to the feudal system of tenure of England. With that came an end to feudal concepts of the crown of England being vested with allodial title to all lands of the realm, and this account for some courts holding the opinion that the term allodium was unique to the feudal system and is now as obsolete as the system to which it belongs. In this education purpose only, it makes the statement that allodial title did not go out with the Saxon kings a long time ago. If reference of the time of the almost, well, when this was written 750 years ago, is that the Magna Charta was the Norman kings who sat the throne of England, not the Saxon kings. And if the reference is to William the Conqueror, then the statement is correct in terms of the time frame that I'm talking about. Allodial misconception. In defense of the documents, you got to understand by strict definition of each of the words. The title exactly and accurately states that over all concepts being proffered, it is the manner in which the word allodial is used in the text thereafter, which tends to obscure the concept. Bringing a land patent forward in your own name does not vest you with the allodial title. So when people make these videos, I say, dude, you still gonna lose and you're gonna go to jail. You're gonna be looked at as a tyrant. If it did, the term would be found in the instrument itself. When I tell a lot of people, a lot of times the answer is in the question that you ask, but a lot of people don't want to be students because we know religion a lot. I said a lot of my misnumbered black people are out Muhammad. They're out Pope the Pope. They're out Jesus per se. And that's all they own. And if that's what you own, create your own platform with that. But I understand that. I'm educated in this and I'm anointed and consecrated. I'm not here to argue with nobody on their religious beliefs. I'm not here to arbitrarily explain nothing to nobody. That's not my mission. Whatever you believe in, honors to you. That's why you an American. But the people with their so-called rights or they so gung-ho with their religion, I bet you won't go to a dictator place with that crap. You will be hung in front of everybody. You jump on somebody's internet page like that, and they know that they got your satellite, they'll come right to your house and drag you out your house and hang you in front of everybody. Because that's what we are in America. We are disrespectful. We disrespectful. And of the many original land patents that I examined, that I had the pleasure to lecture with on college, not one used the term allodial, without exception. What does these patents convey is title and fee simple. When I talk about fee absolute, it's called title and fee simple. Why was the particular expression used? Well, I'll give you a little bit more, and then I'll take a break, and then I'll get with the next document. And if you like the teachings, Cash App $KGB. Prior to the Magna Carta, the titles to the land held by the barons were of the crown, and therefore subordinate to the superior. The superior was the allodial, title of the crown, and their titles and lands could be stripped from them on a mere royal whim. One of the first significant changes made by the Magna Carta was the abolishment of the crown's allodial title, which thereby secured the rights of inheritance to the barons. A caprice or despotic monarch, under any pretext, including unpaid taxes, could no longer arbitrarily take their lands and titles away from them. When I say no one can arbitrarily explain the law, that's in the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15, when everyone has the right of a nationality and a right to change it, and no one would be arbitrarily denied of a nationality and a right to change it, and the claim a child replaces the birth certificate. I'm not here to argue over no one religious beliefs, because people religious beliefs are arbitrary, especially if we all got the same books and people coming with different understandings. When I know what the word what you're reading, but what do it mean? What is the language saying? What's the etymology of it? Is the Bible written in analogy, parable, and symbology? Yep. You don't know that the Bible's talking about everything inside that you looking at as characters, but that's our fault. No one in first century talked about a lot of things that our religious people do. That's why I told y'all about the that so-called government funding. When I talk about the faith-based initiative, where you to promulgate these government-ran programs in religion to get a check to have your church, I don't need that, because I'm not going to do that. But that's what we do. And then a different chapter, it uses the examples of dukes to illustrate how feudal systems of England worked in relation to allodial title. And clarification in the order. The term duke is defined as highest title of nobility in England. It's an honorary title that carries no estate and lands unless the individual holding that title is also a baron. Just like when I say, according to science and law, black is dead, silver mortis, we have a problem. That's why I said no one can get on here and tell me anything that I'm saying is not valid, because I did my oral dissertations in academia. I know people that'll say, oh, they trying to raise money to write books. I don't need raise no money to write books. I've written 20 books with my own money. I use my money. I've gathered and compiled 20 books. I'm reading from a document that I gathered and compiled about allodial deeds. I got a whole book about squatters have no rights, especially in the state of Florida. And then all those people that pay for your leisure, and all those people that say they dealing with real estate, all those people that be on those podcasts, they paid for it. And I told y'all it was Peola. And then my professor was like, well, it's going to fall on deaf ears to you, the misnomer black people, because they think they can throw dollars at something. And instead of using their dollars to educate themselves and go ask questions, it fall on deaf ears. And that's how we get hustled, by our own people with fictitious names on YouTube, going to all these events. And it's like, it's a waste, taking somebody's program. And I'm like, it's a Ponzi scheme and a pyramid scheme. It's just what it is. All y'all got to do is go on JT Pocket Watchers and pull up some of the stuff I be talking about. And I've been talking about this way before the brother had his podcast. I give him credit for bringing it out. He got way more followers than me. That's great. But I'm an educator. I don't care about followers and likes. I save people lives. And if I save one person's life, I've done my job. I told people, I said, y'all gonna get in trouble dealing with these conscious community people, talking about they dealing with Bitcoin and Forex, and talking about they investors, talking about they deal with real estate. I said, okay, y'all gonna get in trouble dealing with the ex-dude talking about they got 400 acres and see what happened. And then it's all payola. I told y'all, it's a book called The Influencer. When that nigga got on my page, I said, man, you just read the book Influencer. And that's what you use it on your own people. Oh, well, brother, can I talk to you in private? No, jump on my page and talk to me in front of everybody for I can show you how you lying. For I can show you what y'all paying for all these testimonies. I've been telling y'all that Jay Morrison stuff was fake. Because I know these people in real life. I know they a scam. It's just what it is. And they only would scam our own people. Why would you go after poor people that don't have nothing instead of dealing with people that got the real bag? That should tell you something. But let's proceed. Not all barons are necessary of noble birth. Those who are generally carry one of the additional honorary titles of rank within the monarchical system of England. An example of this would be Baron or Lord William de Mandeville, Earl of Essex, because of all the property held by the Church of England. That's why a lot of Catholic priests, they don't want them to get married. Why you think they don't want them to get married? Because everything go back to the church. I've been telling people, black has no rights. I don't care what religion you are. Let me tell you why. This is why. Because a black preacher, if somebody come testify to him, he will get subpoenaed to court. You deal with a European priest, because I'm a priest, ain't nothing about me black, nothing. It's lawyer and client confidentiality. They can't ask you nothing. It's lawyer and confidentiality. Fact check me on it. Fact check me on it. Because all the property held by the Church of England is archbishop, whether of noble or common birth, is also a baron by virtue of office. I'm giving y'all words that have synonyms, because according to science and law, black means death, aka silver mortis. When I talk about pig Latin and all that, when I deal with law, it's in a whole nother language. Even the Bible was written in Koine Greek, but we don't know that. I say, what's the analogy? What's the etymology and the etymon of the word? What is the etymology and etymon of the word? You can't even tell me. So I'm not going to argue with no brother that takes stuff for face value, because I know how to read words. But what do the words mean? You can't even tell me. What was the words written for in its original context? You can't even tell me. So I'm not here to argue with no one religion. I understand all the religions. I'm under the triple rose. I understand the Paraclete. I understand the Fatimid. I understand the Jerusalem. I have a clear understanding. That's why I'm welcome in all religious houses. That's why I'm in Arizona and I'm able to go to the Jewish church. I'm able to teach to my Imam brothers, the Nation of Islam brothers that want to know real wisdom. I teach them. My brothers, that's Israelites. And I say it ain't no such thing as a Hebrew Israelite. Hebrew, the etymology of Hebrew means part in the water. And so I'm not here to argue with nobody. I'm not. I'm an educator. My people is God's people. I don't care what you are. I don't care what you are. You know? And prior to 1215, the next highest land title tenure was held by the barons, and it was called title and fee simple. One of the barons has disposed the superior allodial claim of the crown, which the Magna Charta, that left their own title and fee simple as the highest land title obtainable in England. That was a pretty well established reform by the time of colonists came to America, and was what they were familiar with regarding lands and titles. I'm telling you. You damn right. Hey, Noble, I'll tell you another thing. I know people out here that sheiks, and I ain't gonna say their names. I'll be waiting for them to get on my page. It's a book that be lying. I told y'all everything in the book is not valid. That's why I say everything is for educational purposes only. Watch this. In this book right here, these Negroes, the brother that wrote this book tell you to go to the city hall and get a marriage license. In this book right here, in this book, when people be quoting this stuff, they get on there and say, oh, go to the city hall and get a marriage license. I said, our prophet ain't never teach that. You do that with your sheik. You do that with your sheik, because if you don't know your religious rights, then you go into the government, and then that's a third-party contract. That's a civil contract. You don't need to go get no marriage license from no city hall. You do that with your religious head and with your sheik. We have our own documents. You can sign it. You got to have a witness. And if you want people to know that, your union, you just put it in the paper and put people on notice. But you do not have to go to no damn city hall and get no marriage license. That's for people that's not under a religious organization. These is facts. And I'm not here to argue with nobody. I'll pull out the documents that our prophet told you. Don't go to no damn city hall and do the ceremony with your sheik. It ain't nothing but a ceremony. Okay, you go to the city hall and get a marriage license and let a judge marry you. That's a civil contract. You don't need no judge. But misnomer black people, we don't know. Nobudraw Ali say, go buy your wife from the European. Yeah, if you don't want to abide by what he's saying. That's what I tell people about reading and studying. And I say, dude, I'm not here to argue with nobody. Our prophet didn't tell us that. I got the documents. A lot of men say that. A lot of men say that that's confused. But our prophet didn't tell you that. Why? Because I done lectured on it. I got the documents. I done lectured on it a plethora of times. I done lectured on it a plethora of times. Our prophet never he said, go buy your wife from the European if you don't want to listen to the words and the teaching that I teach you. Just like I tell people, oh, if you don't want to listen to the words that I'm teaching you, go do what you want to do and see how it happened. I got the documents. I done lectured a plethora of time. I give people all the information that they need. I give people all the information that they need. But we listen to people that write things and say, the prophet said this. And I say, well, if the prophet said this, show me some notes. Show me some records. Show me some minutes. Like in the Robert's Rules of Order. If somebody said that, give me the minutes. If somebody written that, show me where it's writing that the prophet said that. The prophet didn't say that. People said that. People said that, because that's clearly not what the prophet said. I know this for a fact, and that clearly is not law, because we under law. I base things under law. That's why your religious rights trump everything. I tell people this all day. Your religious rights trump everything. If you don't know that, it ain't nothing for me to say. Your religious rights trump everything. It trumps everything. So what the court didn't say, you will note that the court did not say it is allodial. What was said is that it is allodial in nature. Allodial in nature. That's another way of saying that title by land patent may not be allodial in name, but it has all or most of the characters of it. So when I talk about patents and land patents, another gem that appears on documents that you can research that I give you for study, not for legal advice, for education purposes only. Is cited and quoted, taken from a leading fighter versus County of Gregory. Patents are issued and theoretically passed between sovereigns. Now deeds are executed by persons and private corporations without those sovereign powers that thoroughly sum the necessity for restoring one's status and standing as a sovereign elector in relation to land and titles. In land and titles, I ain't say nothing about no sovereign citizen. I'm talking about in land and titles. When I tell people state and context, because you need to know all type of law, local law, state law, federal law, law and policy. And something that's in criminal law would be different in law and policy, or in local law, or in federal law. But we don't understand that. Despite a lot of people's personal reluctance to burdens the student with any array of court case citations and quotes, is filled with information that should impart the student a thorough understanding of the full extent to which he or she may exercise their sovereign dominion over patented land. That is the greatest value of education and being able to ask people things. And if you have things, and when I give the introduction, the author of these documents accomplished with the set of information that you should ask people. You should research things. When I talk about treaties and patents, you should be able to ask a person a question. You should be able to know these things, what permits and permissions consist of. Just like income tax. And a lot of people say income taxes is something that's mandated. When I say you got to know what I'm talking about, because your money does not go to run the United States of America. It sits in a private banking system. I just told y'all religious rights trump everything. So you should be supporting your religious and charitable contribution of your choice to build your infrastructure and get a tax-exempt receipt. All you got to do is ask a good tax attorney. I know a lot of them. And they assured you that he could take care of any IRS problem. And he did. And I will. They told him to never file a 1040 again for as many years. And I'm not even going to talk about that. You know, a lot of stuff is wrapped up in color of law. A lot of stuff is wrapped up in color of law. I'm telling you. A lot of stuff is wrapped up in color of law. I told y'all it's the book, and it's written when it's called You Don't Have to Pay Your Taxes, and that book is thousands of dollars. And I showed y'all that yesterday. And I say, just because they say you don't have to pay your taxes, it's telling you what to do. It's telling you what to do. But I tell everybody, you're going to be responsible for everything. The book is by Lynn Meredith. It's called Vultures in Eagles Clothing. Go on Amazon and look that book up right now, any of y'all. It's by Lynn Meredith. It's called Vultures in Eagles Clothing. And tell me how much that book costs. That book was given to me when I was taking this tax class. And my professor was like, you own the stuff. You own the things, Sheik. And I said, well, I know how to save myself. Like the prophet said, take these teachers and save yourself. And then I save all my muftis and my students. I ain't worried about nobody that ain't rocking with me. I ain't worried about that. I tell a person, continue to do what you're doing. I'm not going to tell nobody they doing nothing wrong. I'm not going to tell nobody to give me this, or the reason why you don't have this is because you're not dealing with me. No, you alive, you breathing. Evidently, you doing okay. You know, I deal with the people that deal with me. And I strongly suggest you read the book in its entirety and then ask some questions. But the average Negro is not going to buy that book for $1,200. They'll go buy some Balenciagas or some weed and then act like they know something, get on the internet and make a whole bunch of fake videos. And I say, everything I talk about is for education purposes only. Period. I save myself. I never tell nobody to do something I haven't done. I don't use nobody as no crash dummy. I don't say take this and see what happened. See what happened. What, you go to jail? Please. I ain't got time for that. I'm not no sovereign citizen. I'm not here to expatriate from no de facto government. I love the United States of America. I'm an American. What type of American I am? A Moorish American with all my rights. But I strongly suggest you all to read it. But the average Negro is not going to read it. Why? Because they're not going to spend $1,200 on the book. I got the book, and I converted the book to PDF and every other expensive book. And if you do as it proposes, and what the book you are reading, or what I'm giving you right now, suggests, very soon you will have gold and silver in your purse, a piece of ground that is really yours. And you will stand a good chance of weathering the coming storm. And believe you me, it's going to be a heck of a storm. That's why I tell people, this stuff is not easy. People think, oh, either you do this, you follow this, you do that. No, it's going to be a storm. They're going to be on your rip. And if you don't know everything in its entirety, you're going to lose everything. I know this for a fact because I saw people lose everything. I saw women on the internet listen to this. Oh, this is my grand sheik, the dude that got missing teeth, and the lady that talking about she was a sheriff and officer, and y'all saw she got arrested live on the internet. And I know a lot of other ladies that got their kids taken by the social workers because they cut all their power off and say this their land. This house ain't your land. The bank built this house. And it's illegal to have a generator in a neighborhood. You can blow up the whole block and they get put out on their rear end. It's just facts. I know a plethora of women that lost everything. I know a plethora of men that lost everything. Those Ride of the Moors Negroes, they say they fighting for us. You ain't fighting for me. No idiot fights for me. When I can show y'all these people real names, and I can show y'all this stuff is premeditated, and I can show y'all the 2 police agents that set everybody up, and people be like, oh, they fighting for our rights. They ain't fighting for your rights. They fighting for themselves. It's a lack of knowledge. And everybody in a burning house. And now you looked at as a domestic terrorist, foreign and abroad. Foreign and abroad. You looked at as a domestic terrorist. I'll pull out the domestic terrorist list with all these people on. I showed all my members last year, all those groups, those fascist groups that's on a domestic terrorist list. And it's right back here again. I told y'all the federal government have an internet task force. They be on everybody's page. They be on my page. They was like, man, if Moors listen to you, we wouldn't have to be busting their head, locking them up. But people don't want the truth. They think they can file some paperwork and get something. That's what these Negroes think. They think they can go on the internet and buy a graduation regalia and put a white fez on with a gold tassel these women and tell you to take these fake documents to the bank. It's like, dude, these people are retarded. 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 And you're going to sit in jail right next to the European militia. You're going to sit right next to the European militia. You're going to sit right next to the European sovereign citizen that think they overthrowing the government. The only difference from you and them is you're going to have a fez on. Only different. They're going to treat you the same way that they treat the European sovereign citizen. I'm telling you what I know. I started giving you these people names. They done messed their whole life up. I know a dude that was the trucker, the one that was on the rise of the Moors. He got on the internet, talk about the Moorish consulate general in the basement. I said, dude, these people are finna use everything you saying and in a court of law. You got the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. And that goofy Negro got on the internet and told on everybody, told on the whole operation. They all in jail. I'm telling you what I know. And this brother was making 250 grand a year driving trucks. You gonna let some bum poor person strip you for everything? Crazy, madness, insane. So I just wanted I'll give y'all a little bit more, and then I'm gonna jump into this other little topic, and then I'm out of here. The US government, they land grab. They gave a lot of Europeans land. The Homestead Act. They gave a lot of people land. The greatest scam in history. We're living during the greatest scam in history. What is being tried is a land grab that makes a picker out of Genghis Khan. And I tell people, everything is a land grab. And it's been exposed to educators. That's why a lot of Europeans don't lose nothing, and they put everything in a certain trust. And it's 16 trusts. And I don't tell nobody what trust to do. What trust should I get? I don't know. You tell me. You're not my student. You got irrevocable trust. You got revocable trust. You got a whole bunch of trusts. I'm not going to tell nobody what to do, but why would you get a trust and you don't have nothing to put in there? And you can fool some of the people all of the time, and all of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And what has happened is that they have made a whole lot of people darn mad, and mad folks have a very nasty tendency to retaliate, and jackboot thugs won't cut it. That's why I give disclaimers. I say every information that I give is for educational purposes only, information in nature, and does not constitute professional, legal, or tax advice. You must take full responsibility for any liability or loss incurred as a consequence of the use of any application, directly or indirectly, of any information contained in this research. With the events of today, you must verify all information as the truth or validity yourself, because there's no excuse in a court of law of not knowing the law. And as you are the one who will ultimately have to defend your land, you must know what the truth is and what it's not. And that's what I tell people. I tell people this. Everything a belief scam, and we don't know it. And I'm not here to tell nobody what to do and what not to do. The Revolutionary War was not based on taxes. Taxation was a minuscule reason for the revolution. Intelligent men like myself and others do not die for money. You can take this information. That fact is something which the folks who are attending to steal your land and destroy your liberty have forgotten. When you're dealing with real estate agent. Oh, I got my real estate agent, and they telling you, and you think you own property, and you don't own nothing. Don't pay your property taxes and see what happened. That's why Jefferson and Franklin were very intelligent men, as were most of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. Ben Franklin was a self-made millionaire. And that was back in the days when a dollar was worth $1, not 4 cents on a dollar. Intelligent men will outwit crooks in time. I tell y'all, when them scam martyrs, when those Peola, when all those conscious community stuff and all that Bitcoin and that Forex, they know not to come with me because I'm going to destroy it in 1.2 seconds. The pioneers and the pluralineers have also forgotten that the typical American is independent, thinks for himself, and is the original revolutionary. Because he said, don't tread on me there were three kinds of people: the kings and his ilk, who were sovereigns, their subjects and slaves. There were probably some free men running around too, and they were cut from the same cloth as the later Americans would be. To honorary, to be subjugated. Subjugated, y'all know what subjugation mean? I broke that down a whole nother time, what subjugation mean. When the Americans defeated King George and Franklin made him cede sovereignty to the people of the colonies, and the entire concept of personal status changed. Freedom was now a reality of the common man, and our natural rights were recognized. It's a lot. Our rights have been so eroded that an unelected bureaucrat in the county government believes that he has the authority, the right, and power to tell you and I if I can stick a shovel in my ground. But that's wrong. If I fully intend to show any and all that this piece of patented ground I live on is mine in a allodial freehold, and I am sovereign because it's a sovereign body, I am not indentured servant, nor serf, nor slave, nor am I a resident of the corporate state of the federal government. It's a sovereign body. I was not always one, because like most Americans, we all unwittingly surrendered our birthrights through sneaky and fraudulent adhesion contracts, birth certificates, social security numbers, driver's license. I'm not one of those people that tell you that your social security number is attached to a whole bunch of millions. You don't hear me on here say, man, you know your social security number is attached to a whole bunch of millions. Well, if your social security number is attached to a whole bunch of millions, should mine be? If your social security number is attached to a whole bunch of millions, should mine be? And if I know this, why I don't show people how to do it? Because it's fictitious. All them Negroes, you know your social security number is attached to millions. Well, where your millions at, sir? Let me see that you went through the court system and lost everything fighting for that. Let's see. Let's see that you got audited. Let's see. You see what I'm saying? I never teach somebody or talk about something that I don't know the all information, and I didn't go through it myself, and I didn't lose everything trying to do it, and I didn't show y'all the information when I was going to court, when I lost everything. Because these people lying, because they're giving you a tittle of information. Truth and falsehood strangely mixed. And all these people said that. All those conscious community, when they first came out on Sonetter TV, they all came with that. Well, you said, do I have a class on getting land back? My mom died and I had some handed down in the UK, US. Well, you have to know, the laws in the UK and in certain areas, you have to know the law in that area. And then you have to, a lot of time, if we lost land, do we know if the land was given away? Or do we know if the land had liens on it? Or do we know if the land had back taxes on it and people bought the property or the land off back taxes? So it's just so much stuff. That's why I tell people when they just ask me things, I have to have all the information. Because just like if I was defending someone in court, and say if I was an attorney or a lawyer, I have to have all the information before I defend someone. Because a person can look like a fool thinking they defended someone, and then the prosecutors be like, okay, they'll throw stuff in your face, and you will look at the person that you're trying to help was like, why you didn't tell me this? Why you didn't tell me this? And they'll say they didn't know. So the first thing I tell people, we got to know. And how do we lose land? If something was handed down to us, whether in a trust, whether in some form of trust, or whether in public. And that's what I'm talking about right now. That's exactly what I'm talking about right now. That's why I ask people to give donations, and they can get the documents that I have, and they can read them for themselves. Not for law purposes, not for tax purposes, for educational purposes only. And if you have an attorney, you can ask them this, you can ask them that. And you can have me as a legal rep, a person that have your best interests. That's all I tell people. I'm not here to tell nobody what to do. I'm here to educate people because we all went through things. I'm not here to tell nobody what to do, but I'm here to educate you. And I say everything I talk about is for educational purposes only. But to educate yourself, you should want to have that stuff in your hand to read it, highlight stuff, ponder on it, ask family members, study with your other people, and then come back as a group and we have dialogue. That's the only way we as a people will be on the same page. I don't have no special power. And I can't arbitrarily explain the law. It's only one law. And that's it. So if that answered your question, I hope it did. But I'll give y'all this. A standardized contract formed generally on a take it or leave it basis with no opportunity to negotiate as to the terms. A distinctive feature of an adhesion contract is that the weaker party has no realistic choice as to the terms. A contract which is a very one-sided and favors the party who drafted the document. A contract where the bargaining power of the parties is so unequal that the terms are offered on a take it or leave it basis with no opportunity to negotiate. Insurance policies are an example where there is an ambiguity in the terms of an adhesion contract, and ambiguity will be interpreted against the person who wrote the contract and in favor of the reasonable expectations of the non-drafting party. Research what I'm telling you. I keep telling people, you ain't a sovereign citizen, but when you're dealing with land and when you're dealing with ownership, it's sovereign and it's sovereignty. And I'm not here to tell nobody what to do. When I tell people about the 1913 Federal Reserve Act, the 1913 Federal Reserve Act establishment has had its hidden from us for a while. All the land in the U.S. is patented and was still is, if you know. And if you didn't know, you know now. Allodial until 1913, when the Federal Reverse Act or Reserve Act was passed, and our land and all of possessions were hypothecated and put in a certain way and given to the Federal Reserve banks as collateral to a fraudulent, non-payable federal debt. Research what I'm telling you. I'll give you all this last little piece. Watch this. And then I'll take a break and give me some water. And I'm going to show y'all something. And I'll give a little bit because I said I'm going to go for 2 hours. If you like the teachings, Cash App $KGBay. Because you want to have these documents to go over for yourself. Because a lot of stuff I'm talking about, I know a lot of people don't know. But isn't it good when you don't know by listening to me? You know, when you can have something, you can read it, you can come back and say, man, I studied this. I asked the tax preparer. I asked this person. I asked that person. Wow. You start putting ammunition in your gun, per se. So the secret no one wants you to know. I'm going to give you something they call a secret. The secret will enable you to keep land through thick or thin, good or bad. Once you know the secret and follow the secret directions, then it's called patentee. Patentee. That's 1. Number 2, his hairs. And 3, assigns forever. Just like when I talk about power over attorney, just like how the prophet set the temple up. Keep that in your mind. Power of attorney is forever. If someone alive, they get sick and you give them power of attorney, that's forever. Your hairs, if something happened to you, it goes to you. It don't go back to no government. It don't go in litigation. It goes to your assigns forever. Owns it, not leases, rents, or otherwise risk losing that piece of land until you voluntarily give it away, sell it, or otherwise dispose of it. No government, local, state, federal bank, mortgage company, or a speculator can take it. No one, period. This is not the ravings of a lunatic. The Supreme Court of the United States of America has upheld this time after time. The government is so afraid of this that it has been tight-lipped about it for a long time, since they quit telling Americans about it. I'm telling you what I know because my professor used to lecture this on campus. Even definitions of it have been taken out of our dictionaries. That's why Google paid $25 million to take books and dictionaries and take chapters out of it. That's why I did the same thing Google did. All the books that I was given to me that I paid thousands for, I converted them to PDF. And a lot of books that y'all buy off Amazon, they done took the chapters out of it. Like I got a book called The Arab by Bertrand Thomas. They took, I forget the chapter out, that show you the genetics that the Arab is the misnomer Negro. Took the whole chapter out the book. And I know because I got the original print. Every book that I have is the originals and the first printed. Then they reprint when they take the information out and throw pieces back of the puzzle to you. I know this for a fact. Why? Because I'm an educator. The only largest of dictionaries you will find to follow the definition: allodial freehold, own freely. Research allodial freehold, own freely, not subject to restriction or restrictions of alienation that exist in feudal law, feudal law. Land held absolutely in one's own right and not subject to tenure or any land or superior. So, yes, you have a land patent. All land disposed of the government prior to the 1930s was patent to an individual. That is why you will sometimes see them referred to as PLCs, private land claims. And that patent says to the patentee, his heirs, and assigns forever. Fact check me on it. The patent alone passes land from the United States to the grantee, and nothing passes a perfect title to public lands but a patent. Research precedent in law case, Wilcox versus Jackson, 13 Peter capital US 498. All you have to do is update the patent in your name. I'm telling you what I know for a fact. A person asked me one day, can I patent my property if it's not free and clear? One of the most frequently questions that was asked to me on a college campus in the semester when I do these seminars with my professor. Can I patent my property if it's not free and clear? And then you got to deal with what's right now. You know, the answer it is unequivocally yes. However, in equity courts, which have no jurisdiction over you, if you understand what I'm talking about, if you understand sovereignty, title under patent from the government is subject to control to protect the rights of parties acting in a fiduciary capacity. You can research the precedent in law number or the doc number or the law case, Sanford versus Sanford, 139, lowercase u dot, lowercase s dot 290. And in parentheses, it was in 1891. So I'm going to stop right there with that. What my brother said, he said, damn, brother, we got a long way to go. I've been telling people, and I'm not here to tell nobody what to do. I was able to do this on a college campus, like this other document I have. But I got a couple more minutes, okay. And then I'll leave y'all with some biblically. Look, when I talk about uncommon sense, when I talk about uncommon sense, I'll give you a disclaimer. The authors have made every attempt to ensure the accuracy of the information, assertions, conclusions, and forms included in the allodial title and land patents book. Information contained herein cannot under any circumstances be construed as professional or legal advice, but is purely educational in both form and matter. Confronting the bureaucratic and legal system at any level, in any jurisdiction, poses a risk to the liberties of every citizen. So if you know that before you do anything, you're going to pose a threat. So that's why you got to know everything. It's not just use something because you think you're finna get something. The Institute for Communications Resources does not challenge or threaten the authority of any legitimate government. You must take full responsibility for any liability or loss incurred as a consequence of the use and application, directly or indirectly, of any of the information contained in this book. They tell you that. I tell people that. I don't give legal advice. I say this is for educational purposes only. You do what you want to do with it. And what people do, they say, well, he said to do this. I ain't never tell nobody what to do. I don't tell nobody what to do. That ain't my job. I never tell nobody what to do. And then you go to prison. You say, man, well, I was listening to my man on the internet and he told me to do this and that. I ain't tell you to file nothing. I say educate yourself on everything so you can know something before you make any moves, before you listen to anybody on the internet that say file this paperwork, file this paperwork. Because when you file some paperwork, now you're going to have a paper trail. And now it's on. But we the people have the unalienable right in a free republic of American nationals and their sovereign state, citizens to acquire, utilize, and own property. We the people have the unalienable right to have and hold their property free and clear of government liens and encumbrances. These rights have not been abridged, although they have come under attack by circle governments. We the people must understand not only our rights, but how to acquire, utilize, and own property as it was intended by our founding fathers and guaranteed in the United States of America. We the people must understand not only the nature of money, but the political and the politics, the economic and the legal systems to be able to claim our rights to acquire and own land. You cannot trust these parties, the corporations, the media, even the so-called pseudo-academias. I learned all this in the libraries, and I graduated with honors. I got a business degree. I got a dual master's degree in history and religion and linguistics. The educational system to educate you, because they're not going to educate you on this. No one will. No one will educate you on this. So, real estate versus land, I'll talk about a little bit. You cannot listen clearly, because this is how people get caught up. Well, the state has no authority over the land right and the title held by the United States. All rights and titles to the unappropriated land was held to the disposition of the United States government to be granted, not sold to the people. This is how land comes to the people. In the enabling acts, each state republic agreed to declare they will give up all right and title to land. The states has no authority over the land except for Texas, which never gave up its lands. Research the state patent office. That's why you got to know all the local and state laws before you just start jumping in and doing things. And I'm like, you're going to go to jail. Or the military, Texas Rangers. To the federal government, it is still a free and independent sovereign state. And the federal United States government became the trustees with a power of attorney. Power of attorney, I said that early, over the disbursement of the land to the people. Land patents are issued and theoretically passed between sovereigns. These are executed by persons and private corporations without these sovereign powers. Research Fighters versus County of Gregory. Oh, I gave y'all that already. So I'm gonna give y'all another little case. Land is granted, not bought or sold. What has been bought and sold is the real estate. So when a person say, oh, this is a lodio deed in my house, I don't pay. No, we ain't talking about no real estate. We talking about land. Somebody built that house, smart guy. Stop the cap. The equitable interest to property, to the buildings, improvements, equipment that occupies the space above the land, not the land itself. This is the evidence in the land patent itself. Even if the deeds and titles insurance contracts. Title insurance excludes coverage for the land patent. They cannot and will not insure you against a claim for the right and the title to the land itself. The warranty deed grants, not sells the land and sells the property or real estate. The United States government corporation may not own any land, but it does have equitable interest in lots of real estate. I hope y'all catching what I'm saying. So I'll give y'all this last little tittle. You cannot buy land. You cannot sell land. As a sovereign state, citizens, it's yours. Inherited since the original 13 colonies formed the United States of America, and each additional state republic entered the Union. Full payment is already made in the land patent and all subsequent assignments. The registration and fees in the securing of the land patent were paid to the Surveyor General. Research the Surveyor General. Then it was $1.25 an acre and $2.25 an acre for a mining claim. This was not the purchase of land. The land patent speaks plainly to give and grant, not sell, unto your name and his heirs, and assigns forever. I'm telling y'all, rights and titles is conveyed by assignment. All rights and titles to land is conveyed by assignment. Gift or grant directly from a land patent. Land patents right flow from the treaty and enabling acts via power of attorney. Remember I talked about power of attorney earlier? To an individual landholder who in turns gives, grants, assigns the land patent to his or her heirs. Freehold, allodial. Land is beholden to no one. Possession is still 9th, 10th of the law. Caveat emptor, C-A-V-E-A-T, E-M-P-T-O-R. See what that means in Latin. Buyer beware. You have seen 7 years to perfect a claim, and you have 7 years to perfect a claim against land. And if notice is duly given and none contests your claim, it's yours after 7 years. That's how a lot of people, when you can, in certain jurisdictions, if you get a property and don't nobody own it, if the banks don't own it and all this, if it ain't no lien on it, and you be in there for a certain amount of time and you got the power and stuff cut on and all that, yes, could you get that property like that? Yeah, but you got to know all the law. which a lot of people don't know. Hereditament, inheritance, and heir apparent. So I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stop right there because I got so much. And I lecture this on college campus. When I talk about allodial title versus equitable title, protection from foreclosure, protection from foreclosure, protection from foreclosure. So you say your family tree is a part of the Order of Admiral of America. Well, that's your coat of arms or your family crest, which most people don't know. I tell everybody to research your family arms and your coat of research your family arms and your family crest. A lot of stuff you'll start going down that line. You'll be like, wait a minute, my last name is not a slave name. No, only religion do that to you. Your last name is your coat of arms, aka your family crest. When I start showing you all my European colleagues from Europe and England, and when like I'm related to some Goodmans, that's a whole different nationality. That's how I'm able to do this. When I do lectures, I don't even have my Chi on. And a lot of my people say, oh, you a Goodman? Yes. Are you Jewish? I know who I am. When I travel to New York, they all in New York. I get treated different. That's why I tell my people, I'm only here for a minute. I'm only here for a minute. I'm not here to tell nobody what to do or how to do it, but I know what I'm talking about. And education trumps all. Everything I tell you is for educational purposes only. That's why all these people are not educated, and all these people get on, especially these Moors, with these people talk about take their law class, and they name their YouTube channel, whatever university, and you ain't went to no university. Just because you went to, and this how they say it, the library. It ain't no such thing as a library. It's the library. It ain't no such thing as a library. Just because you went to the library means nothing. Means that you should not be given no legal advice or no tax advice. Everything that I do is for education purposes only. That's it. I'm not here to tell nobody what to do. I'm here to give you the information with your attorneys or whatever. You sit down and you court these people and you ask questions and you come up with your defense. And then you can have me as a person that's giving you advice. You can have me as a source of information. But a lot of times it ain't worth nothing to our people. And they get their rear end handed to them when they listen to people on the internet that tell you to do something that they haven't done. So I'll give y'all with this little bit and I'll be done. Because I've been going for a minute. I'll give y'all with a little bit of this. From biblical finances. Biblical finances. When I tell us, especially when I talk about tax codes, and everybody think their taxes go to run the United States of America, and it sits in a private banking system, and if people donate it to our organization, I can give you a tax exempt receipt, and you can give it to your tax preparer. I'm telling you what I know. Everybody think Trump is tax evasion, and I ain't down with Trump, but I know the law. All rich people have tax brackets. They donate to their religious and charitable contribution of their choice, or they give away money. I'm telling you what I know. But what we do, oh, I got to pay my taxes because somebody told you that, instead of supporting an organization that can help you, that we can build our own infrastructure, that we can go back in our communities and we can have our religious communities that's tax exempt for the federal government, and we can apply for grants that you don't have to pay back. I know this for a fact because I do this on my little small platform, and I don't have a whole bunch of people donating to me. I don't. I'm almost done with YouTube and Instagram. That's why I'm putting all this content out here that I've been doing every day, because I got the time, because I work from home. And then I go see my clients. I'm putting all this content out here so when I'm done with it, people can't say, man, this brother been doing all this and he didn't get no support. Nope. But if I was on here acting a nigger fool like that one dude, Charleston White, and he used to do good for the people, but he said his whole thing on the internet is a game, because people don't support nothing that's real. He told you that he was going to make something up, and he became rich by acting a fool, and he told you it's a game. But I'm not finna do that for no dollar. I'm not finna compromise my integrity for no dollar. I'm not doing that. I'd rather just leave it alone and deal with the people that deal with me, and let our people continue to repeat the same process. But watch this. 2 economic operatives in the world: God's economy and the economies that people invent. Scripture reveals God's economy to us in great deal. The way most people handle money is in sharp contrast to God's financial principles.
This should not surprise us. In Isaiah 55:8, it reads, "My thoughts are your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways, declares the Lord." The most significant difference between these, economic systems is that in God's economy, the living Lord plays the central role. As elementary as this sounds, the distinction has profound implications. It's difficult for some people to think that God as being involved with our finances because God has chosen to be invisible and operates in the unseen supernatural realm. Watch this. Watch this. In the scripture, you learn just how, oh, thank you for the donation. My brother said, thank you, man. Thank you too, brother. I love you, and tell your mom I love him. He said, man, this information helped us because we got property that ain't nobody paying back taxes. Now I'm going to give you this information. Go down to the city hall because somebody might have put the money up and they'll buy that property from under y'all. Whatever state you're in, I don't know what state you're in. You have to hit me up an email and I'll give you a call. And you can find out when you go down to the city hall and they'll tell you who put that money up and the amount of time that you have to buy that land back. And then I'll show you how to take everything out of public and put it in a certain trust. It's very simple. So let me finish. You learn in the Bible about finances. It's over 2,350 verses on how to handle your money in your Bible. And Yahshua, the Messiah, said more about money than almost any other subject. Our Lord consistently addressed the issue of money for 3 reasons. How we handle our money influences our fellowship with the Lord. It's in your Bible. Here you go. Yahshua equates how we handle our money with the quality of our spiritual life. In Luke 16:11, it says, "Therefore, if you have not been faithful in the use of worldly wealth, it's your money, who will entrust the true riches to you?" If we handle our money properly according to the principles of Scripture, we grow close to the Messiah. And then these misnomer black people talk about they the original Jews. You don't even donate your money 3 ways. What are you talking about? You don't even support your religious head. You don't even support your educator. So what are you talking about? However, if we are unfaithful with it, our fellowship with him will suffer. And you just pay your taxes. But in the scripture, what did the Messiah do? He flipped the table over of those people that talk about taxes. He flipped it over. That's why the religious laws work for us. Either you're going to give it to Uncle Sam or give it to your religious and charitable contribution of your choice, and I'll give you a tax exempt receipt. We don't know that. It fall on deaf ears. And it's a parable of the talents. The master congratulates the servant who had managed money faithfully. Well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master. Matthew 25:21. As we handle money God's way, we have an opportunity to enter into the joy of a more intimate relationship. I'm telling y'all, it's all in the scriptures to tell you how to deal with money. No one can serve 2 masters. Either he will hate one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both Yahweh and money. Matthew 6:24. It is impossible for us to serve money, even in a small way. Much revolves around money. The Lord talked so much about money because he knew that much of our lives would be centered around it. And during your normal week, how much time do you spend earning in your job, making decisions on how to spend your money, thinking about where to save and invest, who to help, or praying about your giving? It's all in the scripture. It's all in the scriptures. So I'm going to leave y'all with a mathematical equation, and let's see do my people get it, because I did it before. Ownership. The Lord owns all of our possessions. That's what the scripture says, Deuteronomy 10:14. Scripture reveals specific items the Messiah owns. Leviticus 25:23 identifies him as the owner of all the land. The land shall not be sold permanently, for the land is mine. That's in Haggai 2:8. The Lord created all things. So I'm going to give y'all a little analogy. The most vivid example of this scripture is when the Lord, Yahweh, instructed Abraham, "Take now your son, your only son, whom you love, Isaac, and offer him as a burnt offering." That's Genesis 22:2. That's a parable. That's an analogy. That's symbology. When Abram obeyed, when he demonstrated his willingness to give up almost everything. Didn't Messiah say, "Do not lay a hand on the boy"? That's a parable. That's a parable. For the next 30 days, meditate on 1 Chronicles 29, 11, and 12. Now I'm going to give y'all a little thing about money and see do my people catch it. I did this before. That's why I teach in circles to help you. I teach in circles to help you. I'm not gonna give the whole thing. I'm gonna give just a tittle of the research of what I asked a while ago. Let me see, can I find it? Do I have it highlighted? Because I asked this a while. Oh, here it go. I got it saved in my book. Okay. So, be faithful with everything. If we waste possessions, the Lord will remove us as a steward. I'm not the owner of nothing. I'm the manager of things, and I manage it good. A businessman earned a fortune in just 3 years and then went on a spending spree. 2 years later, he informed his office staff that he had little left and everyone would need to economize. Shortly after, he left for an expensive vacation and had his office completely renovated at the cost of thousands of dollars. During his vacation, the entire staff gathered in a newly decorated office to discuss the unabridged what he did. What happened is he went bankrupt. And the principle is applicable today. If you waste the possessions entrusted to you, you may not be given anymore. You got to be faithful or faithfulness in the little things. He who is faithful in a very little things is faithful also in much. And he who is unrighteous in a very little things is unrighteous almost in much. That's Luke 16 and 10. People want more money and spend more, but you're not faithful with the little bit that you have. So, this is what I want to ask y'all. In the United States, it's so much debt. What is debt? And then I'm going to talk about what is mortgage. I'm going to give y'all a mathematical equation. Watch this, and I'm done. What is debt? The dictionary defines debt as money that a person is obligated to pay to another. Debt includes money owed to credit card companies, bank loans, money borrowed from relatives, mortgages, past due medical bills, bills that come due, such as monthly electrical bill, are not considered debt if they are paid on time. So you got to understand the real cost of debt. Now, I'm going to get this mathematical equation. Let's see that my people catch this, because I broke this down a long time ago. Remember, men lie, women lie. Numbers don't lie. I got a chart. The amount of interest you pay. All right, so this is the mathematical equation. You got to understand that the real cost of debt. Assume you have $5,560 in credit card debt at an 18% interest rate. How much would this cost you in interest annually? How much would it cost you in interest annually? How much would it cost you in interest annually? And let's see, do anybody got the answer? Because this is mathematical equation. That's why some of the biggest things that you get is a mortgage, and you don't know this because you don't get no check when you say, I own a house. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. I tell you to buy the land and then build on your land and don't get no mortgage. You can build on your land and you can deal with builders, but I'll never tell nobody to go to no bank and get no mortgage loan, because then you're never going to own nothing. I'll give you another analogy. Like a lot of my people, they buy double wides and they pay just like a cell phone and then they buy it outright. They don't have a mortgage. I'll give an analogy. What I'm doing, how I'm trying to rebuild my community, because I own damn near a whole side street. In my city of Flint, the houses are abandoned. When I grew up on Green Street, all the houses are abandoned. I have family that own houses. They let the houses just be in shambles. And so when they lose everything, all I do is go to the city hall and ask them to tear it down, and I buy the land. And so I'm going to put manufactured houses that's already put together on the land with no mortgage. If I don't have the money outright, we pay each month. Once we pay the principal, it's a wrap. And we own it. I haven't got a mortgage. I own the land, and they put it, boom, right on my land. Just like if I buy a trailer or a modular home, they put it right on my structure, and I pay dollar for dollar with no interest because I don't have a mortgage. But misnomer black people, it fall on deaf ears. We'll never have nothing. So watch this. Do anybody know the answer of the mathematical equation I have? All these people that own houses, they don't even know. I said, assume you have $5,560 in credit card debt at an 18% interest rate. How much is your interest annually? How much? How much is your interest annually? If you don't know, say you don't know. But this should be simple. Everybody that got a house, I don't hear that like, oh, I own my house. No, you don't. You'll lose your house in back taxes. How much interest are you paying annually? And that's just something small. Wait till I give you these numbers. And then watch your brother or sister. They'll lie to you like it's no other. Do anybody got the answer? I'll wait. I've been on here for 2 hours. I got to get off of here. Thank everybody for giving me donations. I told y'all, my people lost due to a lack of knowledge. And our own family be the ones that be a part of the lostness, because they want to stunt on other family members. But when you die, none of the stuff you're going to be able to take with you. You dead and gone. And then all we do is repeat what? Debt. So I'll wait. Do anybody got the answer? Yes or no? Do anybody got the answer? Yes or no? I'll wait. I got a couple more seconds. Do anybody got the answer? I said, assume you have $5,560 in credit card debt at an 18% interest rate. How much would it cost you in interest annually? How much would it cost you in interest annually? Do you know? And if you don't know, just say, no, I don't know. Or I don't know how to do the mathematical equation. And the average misnomer black person, the average American that did this, they don't know. But you go get a mortgage. You sit down with the bankers and they know you don't know. They know you don't know because you ain't talked to me. Or you ain't talked to somebody that know it. Because I'm not the only one that know this information. I may be the only one that jump on this internet and ask my people for a small donation to give you this information when you lose hundreds and millions of dollars. So I'll wait. And I guarantee you, nobody can answer it. Nobody can answer it. But they so smart. Oh, I got a degree in this. Okay, well, answer this basic elementary mathematical equation. Can anybody answer it? You got a smartphone. I'll wait. Do anybody got the answer? If you don't know the answer, say, no, man, I don't know. And please don't guess. There ain't no reason to guess. We've been guessing and get ourselves in trouble. What we have to do is admit when we don't know something. And then when you admit that you don't know something, then you can learn. But most misnomer black people, they be embarrassed. None of my European colleagues, they don't be embarrassed. They say, well, that's why you here, sheik, rabbi, teacher. What? To teach us something that we don't know. Or to teach us something that we assume. But misnomer black people, they'll just guess. And they won't admit that they don't know. Knowing you're not educated on this. You can't teach your kids something that you don't know. You got to be okay with it. But you can be educated from your own brother, your own cousin, your own nephew, your friend, your sheep. So once again, do anybody know the answer? I'll wait. If not, I'll just cut it off. I'm waiting for somebody to say no or give me an answer. I'm not just finna give the answer. I want somebody, one person to say, no, I don't know. Or give me what they came up with. If not, we'll just end it. I'll wait. This stuff saved people's life. I did this in college, had my professor, had all the college students jaw dropping out their mouth. They like, so you telling me this is how much interest I'm paying on this? And it ain't even paying for the principal? Nope. Do anybody know the answer? If you don't know the answer, say you don't know. That's sad. Nobody will say they don't know. That's sad. Well, I end it like that. I end it like that then. I end it like that. I'm not going to even say nothing else. I'll give you another mathematical equation. I'll give you another mathematical equation. Say your original mortgage, or what you borrow from the bank, is $100,000, and I'm giving you easy figures, and your monthly mortgage payment at 10% interest. How much is your monthly payment at 10% interest? How much is your monthly payment at 10% interest? How much is your monthly payment at 10% interest? Your original mortgage is $100,000. And a lot of people interest is way more than 10%. So say your original mortgage loan is $100,000, and your monthly mortgage payment at 10% interest is how much? They can't even tell me that. I said, well, why in the hell would you go get a mortgage loan? Because they'll tell you, oh, you can pay this, you can pay this. But so what is your monthly mortgage payment at 10%? And then once you figure that out, you got to times that by 360. What would be how much you pay over the course of your loan? And you only borrow $100,000. You paying 3 times more than what you borrow. And you happy to do that? And that's just at a 10% interest. That's why I be laughing at our people. I say, oh, so you got a house, you paid $100,000 and your interest is at 10%, which is a dollar amount. You times that by 360 and then you paying 3 times what you borrow. You bragging? Or are you a fool? I think it's foolish. I'm not going to get an answer. That's why I said if you don't know, we should have asked. You say, I don't know. And what is a fixed mortgage? Does that make a difference? Islam? Nope. Thank you, Rasta. I love when brothers be on here to give me conversation back. A fixed mortgage, okay, I'll give you an analogy since you asked, brother. A fixed mortgage, as they say, is set. A fluctuating mortgage, which how a lot of misnumbered black people lost their houses, they'll say, oh, you will make some more money in the future, so you will get a fluctuating mortgage. But Negroes be so happy to get something, just like putting money down on a car. $1,000 down on a car is like $1. So a fixed mortgage. So first, let me go back to the first question that I asked, and then I end it since you said something, brother, and gratitude to you. I'll break down the first mathematical equation I asked, because most of our people, they embarrassed. That's why they get messed up, Rasta, and they won't help nobody because they went in a burning house. And instead of them saying, hey, man, I messed up and I need some help, they'll just be quiet. That's what our family do. That's what a lot of my family done. You know, brother Rastu, I hope I'm saying that right, Foundation of the Sun, they won't say, hey, man, I didn't know. And we'll pass this down to our children. So, assume you have a $5,560 in credit card debt at an 18% interest rate. That will cost you $1,000 in interest annually. And so when I break down a chart, brother, the amount of interest you will pay. So watch this. In 5 years, 5,000. In 10 years, 10,000. In 20 years, 20,000. In 30 years, 30,000. In 40 years, 40,000. What you will accumulate on $1,000 investment annually if you earn at 12%. If you earned it at 12%. 5 years, $6,353. 10 years, $17,549. 20 years, $72,052. 30 years, $241,331. In year 40, you have been unearned with a 12% interest on a smart investment, $767.91. Excuse me, at $91. How much the lender make off your money? Watch this. How much do the lender earn from you, from your interest payment at 18% interest? Year 5, they earn $7,154. Year 10, they earn $23,521. Year 20, they earned $146,228. So in year 20, they done made the money that you paid for the property. Year 30, $700,090, $948. Year 4, they done owe $4 million, $163,213 off you. And you can see what the lenders have known for a long time. That's why a person talk that real estate stuff. Man, I know what you're doing. Just say you making money. But don't get on here and tell people you showing them how to make good investments. But we can do what we want to. We can do what we want to. Yeah, brother Rastu, exactly. That's why I told y'all numbers don't lie. A person don't have to like nothing I'm saying. I save lives. And I do this for small donations. I ask people to give me a small donation to my school, Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. I asked people to give $5, $10, $20 to Cash App, $KG Bay. All the stuff I'm talking about, a load of your deeds and contracts, I give it to you to study for educational purposes only. So when people throwing paper in your face, you need to ask some questions. Exactly. That's why you can see what the lenders know for a long time. The incredible impact on what? Compounded interest. is working for them. And the lender will accumulate more than $4 million if you pay $1,000 a year for 40 years. And the lender earns 18% on your payment. So I asked a lot of people that got mortgage loans, how much percent you paying interest? I bet you most of them paying more than 18%. I bet you most of them paying more than 10%. I guarantee you, especially if your so-called credit ain't right. Is there any wonder that credit card companies are eager for you to become a borrower? Now compare the $40,000 that you paid in interest over 40 years with the $767,091 you could have accumulated, earning 12% on $1,000 each year. And the monthly income on $767,091 is $7,671. If the earning at a 12% without ever touching the principal. That's how when I invest, I take my profit and leave my profit in there, and I might take my initial investment out and I just play with my profit and I let that make money. Because I do certain investments, but I never get on here and tell nobody to do it, because everything is an assumption of risk. Everything. And you got to know people that know how to invest. That's a full-time job. You got to have about like 8 or 9 or 10 computers seeing the stock market, seeing when it go up, seeing when it go down, seeing when it fluctuate, seeing when it snake. Because the stock market don't crash. Everybody always making money. The stock market will never crash. This ain't no accident. Somebody always making money. Now things are plateau, or an investment, we say things are snake, and you got to know when to take your money out, or when to take your initial investment out and play with your profit. But no one will tell you that. Debt has a higher cost than many realize. And the next time you attempt to purchase something with debt, ask yourself, the long-term benefit of staying out of debt outweighs the short-term benefit of the purchase. Now, this last mathematical equation I give you, and I'm out. A 30-year home mortgage at 10% interest rate will require you to pay more than 3 times the amount originally borrowed. But nobody will never tell you this. The last mathematical equation I asked y'all, your original mortgage loan that you got is $100,000. I asked, what would be your monthly payment at 10% interest? At 10% interest, brother, your monthly payment would be $877.57. So you times that by 360. Your payment total would be $315,925.20. But you only borrowed $100,000. That's why I be laughing at people. They be acting like they so happy. I say, you just passing down debt to your kid. And when you don't pay the property taxes, you lose everything. And scripture does not say that debt is a sin, because I ain't said it was a sin. But it discourages the use of debt. Remember, God, Yahweh, whatever you want to say, loves us and has given us these principles of our benefit. Read the first portion of Romans 13:8 carefully from several different biblical scriptures. Owe no man anything. Let no debt remain outstanding. Pay all your debts, but you can't pay all your debt when you get a mortgage. Owe nothing to anyone. Keep out of debt. Owe no man anything. And in the biblical scripture, it says debt is considered slavery. Proverbs 22:7. Just as the rich rule the poor, so the borrower is servant to the lender. When we are in debt, we are in a position of servitude to the lender. And deeper we are in debt, the more like servants we become. We do not have freedom to decide where to spend our income because our money is already obligated to meet debts. So in 1 Corinthians 7:23, Paul says, you were bought with a price. And so debt was considered a curse in the Bible too. In the Old Testament, being out of debt was one of the promised rewards for obedience. If you diligently obey the Lord your God, being careful to do all his commandments, which I command you today, the Lord your God will set you on high above on all nations of the earth. All these blessings will come unto you. You shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow. That's in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1 and 2 and 12. However, debt was one of the curses for disobedient. That was one of the curses for disobedient. Debt was one of the curses for disobedient. And if you do not obey the Lord your God to observe all these commandments and the statutes, then that's what happens. So I was on here for 2 hours. And I said, if y'all give a donation to Cash App $KG Bank, all those documents that I spoke on about allodial deed, all those expensive books about the errands, about with trust funds and all that stuff, When I tell you don't listen to me, because everything I talk about is for educational purposes only. It's for educational purposes only. That's all it is. And I had the pleasure to lecture all this stuff on the college campus. I give you all this stuff for educational purposes only. So if y'all want the information about land patents and all those things that I talk on, that I had the pleasure to speak on the college campus, all you got to do is give a small donation to our temple and school. When I talk about the Errant Sovereign Handbook, when I talk about that book about the eagles that cost $1,200 on Amazon. So I answered this last question. You said, what is the solution for someone who is looking to attain a house or other property? Great question. One, remember I said the religious laws trump everything. So I'll give an analogy as the churches. When a church own property or have a house that the pastor live in, what do they call it? It's called the parsonage. And the parsonage is tax exempt for the federal government. I tell all of us, we are ministers. A lot of things are given to religious organizations. That's number one. Number two, I tell people to buy land in your community instead of going on the outskirts to these other communities, and we buy the land in our community that our own people tore up, that the crackheads burnt the houses down, or the junkies squatted and tore all the houses down, and you live in a neighborhood and it's a burnt house here and it's a burnt house there, and you paying property taxes. No, you're supposed to own that land and build on the land in your community, because the land is not, they're not going to charge you a lot for the land. I'm from Flint, Michigan. Me and my mama just jumped on my page. I wish she was on my YouTube page as well. I buy land for pennies of the dollar. I tell people you should buy the land outright and get double wides and get modular homes. Don't build a house with a mortgage. Or if you know builders, deal with dollar for dollar. Because I didn't say paying for nothing was wrong. I didn't say that, because you're going to pay for everything. I say getting a mortgage if you don't understand what I'm talking about, and the debt you increase. Because why, if a person happy, if you get a mortgage for $100,000 and at a 10% interest, your payment is $877.57, and you times that by 360, and you paying $315, $925.20 over the course of that loan, and you only borrowed $100,000. Why? Why, if you got a debt at $5,560 in credit card debt or anything at an 18% interest rate, you paying $1,000 in interest annually? And I showed y'all how much those real estate agents and those borrowers make off your money. I show you this. So the whole thing is, if you from a neighborhood, which we did, brother, we moved out our neighborhoods and we moved to the suburbs. We moved to the suburbs and we watch and we ride past our neighborhoods and look at it all in shambles, and Europeans and these companies buying all the land for tennis shoe money. And they're going to push everybody in a project on top of each other like they did before. And everybody going to be on Section 8 and welfare. I'm telling you what I know. So that's the solution. The solution is to set yourself up, one, as a religious entity. If you spiritual, understand that. And a lot of stuff will be given to you, and they'll write off their books. And then instead of, if you don't have the manpower and the people that work with their hands, brick masons, to fix those establishments up, you don't need no raggedy house. You have a petition to your city council and the city hall, whoever that's owning that land in the city of Flint, land bank own a lot of stuff, and you have them tear it down. And you buy the whole block for tennis shoe money, and you get your double wide put on your slab, and you pay dollar for dollar, and that's no mortgage. I'm telling you what I know. That's the only solution that I have. That's what I'm working with. That's why I try to teach my family members. But brother, a lot of time our family, it just fall on deaf ears, and we all die with debt. I have family members that own houses and stuff, and it sit and it be raggedy, and people can live in them. I'm talking about my own family. I don't care if nobody don't like me. Don't nobody support me but my mom and my dad and my ministers and my wife. I ain't here to please none of my family members. They don't support nothing I do. They don't purchase none of my books. They don't come to Sunday school. They don't give donations. So I'm just going to tell it how it is. A lot of our family members is wasteful. They will have property and own property and let it go to shambles and won't let nobody get it. And if they mad at me for speaking the truth, I don't give a damn. Don't make me no different. But we'll brag what we have. What you said, like you said, most don't hold it, and family tend to pass the debt to family members who don't know law or financially stable. Islam, respect to you and love. A lot of clowns put here lying and scamming. Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially when y'all be watching well, not y'all. When I say y'all, I'm just saying in general, when they be on the internet and they be watching all these podcasts like $1 million worth of game and they have all that pay for your leisure. And that ain't nothing but infomercials. And it's payola. None of them people dealing with Bitcoin or Forex, it's all fake. I had a niece used to be all on the internet talking to people, oh, they dealing with Forex and Bitcoin. How much money you made off that? I don't be trying to embarrass nobody, but when you get on social media and try to tell somebody, oh, you should be doing this, no, you shouldn't. It's a Ponzi and a pyramid scheme. You ain't made no millions off of that. All the thing it cost you is time and your livelihood. They be going to all these events where people can ring the bell and you ain't making no money. It's a pyramid scheme and a Ponzi scheme. And it's the truth. But they get mad when I tell the truth. All of them with that stuff, when they go on the internet, I say, listen, how much money you made? And if they get on here and tell the truth, they made this much. They made this much. Zero. It's just facts. So that's my only solution. Until we go back to our communities and buy our community back and deal with somebody that understand tax code and the religious laws and tax exempt status and deal and understand that we are religious people and build our religious community, that we can be private, that's the only way. But a lot of our people move to the suburbs. And they pass on debt to their children that can't pay for something. That's why when parents die and your parents have a will and you get these kids the house, they can't afford the house. They can't keep it. Why? Because of taxes. And then when you have a will, that's litigation. This stuff be falling on deaf ears to my family. When I say, why would you have a will? Why not get a trust? So you got to worry about somebody in your family or your son that you don't deal with say, this is my dad. And then you go to court. And then the court subpoena you, and now you got to court. Now you got to go to court in litigation. Now it's going to be family members arguing over something that the parents should have said, no, you get nothing. This is my trust. I don't care what you say, but nobody listens because we're not educated. We let other people tell us how to do things, and they don't listen to their own family that's educated in these specific things. I'm the only one in my family that's educated in business and educated in spirituality, and our own family think they know something more than me because they older. That's why I laugh. But I guarantee you, when the flesh is gone, you're going to have debt. You said, as far as personal structure, I'm thinking it would be better to do business through private trust. Absolutely. Than organize a religion. Well, like I say, that's somebody else's thing. Like I say, I'm not here to tell nobody what to do. That's on you. But you got to understand, your religious corporation is private. That's why I be telling people. But I'm not here to argue with no one. Like when you do one thing, but then you got to remember, private religion is private. A trust is still a form of a corporation if we don't know. Tomato, tomato. When I say you are a corporation, when the people that say, I say you are a corporation, what you mean? You are a business. You know? Thank you, brother. You said that was the disconnect that I was having. Yeah, you are a business. You are a corporation. An individual person is a corporation. If you don't think that, other people will use you as a corporation. You are a corporation. That's why I tell us, don't assume nothing. Educate yourself on something. That's why I don't talk about nothing personal. That's why I never say, I think. Do you know? And then we have to prove things that the scripture says. 1 Thessalonians 5:21. Prove all things and hold fast to what is good. I told y'all, the religious laws trump everything. I tell people this a plethora of times. Research of religious laws. Research the law of indigenous people. Research the religious rights of the indigenous people. The religious laws trump everything. Why you think the church, the Catholic Church, own everything? Why you think the Vatican own everything? I try to educate my people on this. I'm not here to argue with nobody. I will never do that. It's not my plight. But when we think things and we don't know for sure, that's how we get in trouble, because we don't have these conversations. And we should always have conversations. And then I tell people, you can agree to disagree with me. It makes me none. Makes me no issue. But I hope what we do is sit down and have these conversations, and then we can walk out the house holding hands. You know? Thank you. Makes a lot of more sense now looking back to Noble Drew. Thank you. I keep telling people, brother, I'm glad you just said that. I'm about to show y'all something, and then I'm done. This right here is the state booklet, how the prophet set the temple up. I keep telling people, I broke this down a plethora of times. When people say they're going to do something, I say, dude, you're going to have your own divine creed and your constitution to bust your head. Because the Moorish Science Temple of America, we got our ID, which is for the temple. We got our travel ID, which is just for the temple. And we got a tax exempt. I done told people about this. The affidavit of corporation. But I'm not here to argue with no one. Our prophet Ben taught us this. And then when people think some 1099 is some trust fund, it ain't nothing but a religious affidavit. I got the documents with all these old people be lying. That's why I don't follow behind no old person just talking. That'll get you in the burning house. The prophet set the temple up one way, and my temple in school is set up a certain way. I'm not here to tell nobody what to do. I just say, do it as you please. And when the people say how the prophet set things up, I say, do you have the documents how the prophet set it up? Because the prophet set the temple up in a certain way. Why you think, like in my city of Flint, brother, we have the Moorish Science Temple of America that's on Martin Luther King Street. And them Negroes can't even come together. When I continue to look at it, pull up the Moorish Science Temple of America in Flint, Michigan. You're not going to get no information. All the phone numbers disconnected. Why? Because Negroes don't keep up what's good. They're going to lose the temple, which is a historical monument, for back taxes. But me and a lot of my people, which not even Moorish, we're going to get it. You know, the Moorish literature is good, but this is how the temple was set up. This is how the temple is set up. This is how the temple is set up. Got all the documents with to tell people when I talk about words and definitions and know what they mean. When I talk about state, which you need to know what the prophet said about state and the truth about body politic, and understand that words have synonyms like the definition of state, body politic, independent sovereignty, control over all persons and things within the boundaries, capable of making war and peace. Understanding why it's good to be called a state, a principality, all those things. Understanding the theocracy. Understanding that the prophet set the temple up in a certain way. In chapter 32 of the Heard Smith Revised Status of the state of Illinois. Understanding what body politic really mean. How each people covenant with each other. But I don't have time to go over that. You know, understanding why he crossed out elected and put appointed. Understanding certain things. Not to argue with each other and say, well, I thought this, I thought that. Because here go the documents how the prophet set the temple up. It's literature how the prophet set the temple up. This is public information. And then I show everybody the ordinations what all the mayors got, where they tell you that we Moorish Americans. They did it in 2012. It's sitting in the mayor's office in Flint, Michigan. I share all the documents. I'm not here to argue with no one. I never argue with no brother. Never ever. All I do is just delete them. Because I don't have time to be wasting my time arguing with no one. I'm from the temple. I created my school for nobody have to get caught up with these characters. The temple is right, but the characters are not right. Because anything about the temple, just like you can go to the CCRD, the County Recorder of Deeds, and get the document showing that the 1099 ain't no damn trust fund at the end of the rainbow. It's just a religious affidavit. And those lying sheiks lied to people. So I'm not here to argue with no one. I'm here to say, do as you please. But when things happen and you go to jail and you lose everything, don't be mad at me. Don't say I didn't warn you. So I love everyone. I give honor to people. A lot of people make Moors give them a bad name because they be talking about some Moors or some sovereign citizens, and you can't be no sovereign and a citizen at the same time. It's an oxymoron. You even got older people that they kids be thinking they want to get into the science because they kids criminals and they don't want to come learn nothing. They want a quick fix. They don't want to learn nothing because they think, oh, is the Moors the ones that don't got to pay taxes? What are you talking about? Religious organizations don't pay taxes. If your church is set up the right way, you don't pay taxes on basic purchases. You don't pay taxes on vehicles. I mean, what are we talking about? But that's all people want to do. Oh, I thought it was there's some like a law for Moors that don't pay taxes. Man, you're going to go to jail. So that's all I got to say. I don't have nothing else. I love everybody. And until we rock on one accord, when a person can arbitrarily explain things and I tell people, you cannot arbitrate explain law. You cannot. We shouldn't assume nothing. We should know. And that's what the scripture says. Prove all things and hold fast to what is good. You can't arbitrarily explain law in a court of law. And there is no excuse of not knowing the law in a court of law. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. And people can have this stuff for themselves. Where you can see the duality of state. Where you can see the duality of words. And that's all I want to share with people. When you can understand what government clearly means in this context. Not taking things out of context. But a lot of us do. A lot of us do because they don't know real history and law and civics. They operate on of something that they heard on the internet. That's all. And so that's all I got to say, man. I love y'all for listening to me, for taking time on my day. But it took us a lifetime to get miseducated. And I only get on here and give information that I can give to y'all. I can show you what it's all about. The Moorish Science Temple and the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School is a theocracy. It's defined as a government of a state by the immediate direction of God or by the assumed direction of a superstitious divinity, or the state does govern. That's how I'm operating. I ain't telling nobody else nothing. Don't make me no difference. Gratitude for the donations when you do. I'm not here to argue with no one. I tell everybody, I can give you everything. I say, well, I'm under a theocracy. Most people don't even know what a theocracy is. I say, that's how the temple set up. That's how the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School set up. So how can you have all these so-called Moorish Science Temple of America, which know what Jula Ali set up, and none of these Negroes can agree? That's sad. It's only one temple. It's only one prophet. The temple is set up one way. That's why I don't bash the temple. I talk stuff about the people that's inside the temple, these sheiks that's lying. Because the prophet set the temple up a certain way, and it's public information. You can get documents with the seal on it, just like this document I got from the CCRD, just like when you got a college degree and they say, do you want your transcripts official or unofficial? It's just a fee. And that's with all that the course are do. The whole stuff that you say. And I give all this stuff to people free to show you how Loal love L and Sheik is Mota D love L. Asking these people is the 1010 some trust fund at the end of the rainbow. And they say, man, what you saying is lawfully illegal and outside of the parameters of the law. So I'm not here to argue with nobody. But when people say, well, the prophet said this and then do that, and I said, prove it. Because the prophet ain't said nothing like that. Anything that the prophet said is public information. The prophet didn't tell nobody to go get a marriage license. Negroes did. Because you're religious and your sheik, which I am, can do those and give you the agreement. And all we got to have is a witness. You don't have to go to no city hall. But your mama and your daddy tell you to go to the city hall. But that's not law. And I'm not here to argue with nobody. I'm here to tell people to do as you please. And members of a body politic will recognize that the creator of God, Allah alone, guides this divine and national movement. And a theocratic entity, it differs from a form of a secular entity. That's what, thank you. It differs from a secular entity. I be trying to tell these people this, but it fall on deaf ears. The Moorish Science Temple of America and the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School is a divine and national movement that has divine laws and holy laws that each member are to uphold and preserve. And the Moorish Science Temple of America, when these Moors say that, they not abiding by what? The divine laws and the holy laws. And if they are to earn the name of faithful, as ordered by Act 7 in your Moorish divine constitution and your bylaws, which I laugh at Moors. I can go on and on. I've been doing this for over 10 years. My mom on my Facebook page, I had old Moors at my temple. They all went to jail. The Moorish Science Temple of America was established as a religious corporation by filing the affidavit of organization, document 1010-5905, form 1099, recorded in the Recorder of Deeds office in the County of Cook, State of Illinois, on August 1st, 1928. Free information. Free information. The Heard Smith Revised Status, Chapter 32, an act concerning corporations. But we say we ain't no corporation because you don't know. You better a sovereign body than an individual. I be telling people this all 100 times. A sovereign group, a sovereign people, not a sovereign citizen. The religious laws trump everything, but it fall on deaf ears to a lot of people. The religious laws trump everything. We don't know that. The Heard-Smith Revised Status, Chapter 32, an act concerning corporations, Section 36, Religious Corporation Act, played a huge origin on establishing the Moorish Science Temple of America as an ecclesiastical body politic and corporate. So how can any subordinate temple of the Moorish Science Temple of America not operate under the Heard-Smith Revised Status, Chapter 32, Section 36? Because this act clearly states that, and I quote eloquently with a silver tongue, any church, congregation, or society formed for the purpose of religious worship may become incorporated in the matter followed. Electing crossed out by appointing. You shouldn't elect nobody because you like him. Oh, I like him because he got some money. No, you need to appoint the person with the wisdom, with the aptitude, with the education, with the spirituality that know what he's talking about, according to its uses or customs at any meeting held for that purpose. 2 or more trustees, wardens, or vestments, or such officers whose powers and duties are similar to those of trustees, as shall be agreeable to the usage and customs, rules, regulations of such congregation, church, or society, which are all the same thing, and may adopt a corporate name. And upon the filing of the affidavit, as hereafter provide, it shall be and remain a body politic and corporate. I'm telling y'all what I know. All this stuff can be found in the County of Cook Recorder of Deeds. So I stop right there. I love y'all, man. And until we come on one accord, until we come and learn and be one body, you're going to always have a group of people that say this and to say that, but they can't prove it. The Bible says, 1 Thessalonians 5:21, prove all things and hold fast to what is good. You cannot arbitrarily explain law. You will get in trouble. And with that, I say gratitude. And if y'all like the teachings, please give a small donation to Cash App $KGB and all those documents that I talked about today in trust funds and the load of your deeds and all those expensive books that go with that. I'll help y'all. I ain't say nothing about enforcing no peace of freedom, a treaty and friendship. Didn't say that. You said that. I didn't say that. That's what I'm telling people. I didn't say that. That is not what I said. I said constitutional law. I ain't said nothing about the peace and friendship. You said that. A lot of treaties have been broken by the United States of America. Most treaties have been broken by the United States of America. That's why I tell my people, I'm not here to tell nobody nothing. I'm not here for nobody to assume nothing. And that's what we do as a people. You say, so this is a platform to enforce the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. I didn't say that. All treaties have been broken by the United States of America. Every single one. Every treaty. I say it's a certain thing to protect yourself, and the religious laws protect yourself. When I talk about the Declaration of Human Rights, I ain't said nothing about no treaty. Never said that out of my mouth. I know about treaties, but I didn't tell nobody to do nothing or enforce nothing. I didn't tell nobody to do that. And that's what I tell people. I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to tell nobody what. If you have a platform and you say you're here to defend the peace and treaty, which the United States has broke every treaty, that's on you. But I didn't say it. That's what I tell our people. Don't put words in my mouth. And I'm not saying you are, brother. I know you asking questions. But I tell people, don't put words in my mouth, because I didn't say that. I just broke down how I'm set up and how the Moorish Science Temple is set up. I tell people how I'm set up, and the religious laws trump all. That should be simple for people. That's why a lot of people, I call them rogue Moors. They want to do everything on their own, and that's where that sovereign citizen come from. And you're not a sovereign citizen. It's a sovereign state. It's a body politic. It's a municipal. It's a state. It's a school. That's what I talk about. And a lot of stuff, a lot of our brothers and sisters, they just don't listen. And I ain't talking about you. I'm just saying in general, that's what happened with us when we want to just argue with each other. You know? Yep. And that's all I tell people. I'm not here to argue with nobody. I'm not here to tell nobody to do nothing. I'm not here nobody to do nothing that I say do. You know? I'm not telling nobody to do that. I ask person to read laws. Read the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15. Read what the House Joint Resolution 75 is. Do you understand what the SF 181 form is? Read the religious rights of the indigenous people. Which you have the right to do this. You have the right to do that. You have the right to do this. You have the right to do that. I'm not here to tell nobody to do nothing. That's constitutional law. That's the first thing I ask people. Do we know constitutional law? Do we know the 13th, the 14th, the 15th Amendment? Do we know what manumissions are? Do we know what Reconstruction laws are? If we don't know that, then we have to educate ourselves on some things and not just try to read one thing and say we have it, because it takes a plethora of things to have it. It's no quick fix with this. And everybody be looking for a quick answer. Oh, I read this and I got it. And I say, well, if that's what a person feel. But I love y'all. I love everyone. Gratitude to everybody. Peace and love.